Kanpai! What are you giggling about? What is going on with my animation?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's what we're giggling about. All right. Welcome one and all to episode 117 of Kanpai Cast. Today is the Autumn 2023 full season review, where we go over all of the shows that we have watched in the last season and give them our little honest opinions for you guys. Before we start, there is housekeeping, and I say that with a capital H, housekeeping. Nasuth, over to you first. What have you been doing for the last month or 2 months with this show?
So it's been a collaborative effort. Xeno kind of started the idea. He wanted to change things up to get rid of the rounded corners. You see if you've watched the news already, you've seen these nice new borders around our screens. And our screens, our video captures, and so we started with that, and then in the process of doing that, I asked Xeno if he also wanted to use a move transition that I'd kind of tinkered a little bit with in the background, like a year ago or something, and he said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we decided, hey, we're gonna do that. So that was the bulk of my effort, was setting that all up, getting all the hotkeys sorted out, getting all the positions and the transitions worked out. And then while I was doing that, Xeno was working. Do we want to show it off now, or do we want to wait until we get into the actual reviews?
Well, before we do that, you're underselling yourself a little bit. So one thing is we changed the format of the memes, right? So that we got a brand new layout dedicated just for the memes, which is the left-hand side is where the webcams are, and then there's more screen real estate for the actual memes themselves, right? Because, sometimes they're a bit too small, and you get the idea, right? So we have different layouts for different situations. This has all been a push towards having guests back on the show. And again, being able to transition between 4 people, 5 people, 3 people.
Indeed.
Again, because like a lot of Kanpai Cast was a lot of experimentation, and we basically went like, okay, we're going to throw a lot of the crap away and keep the stuff that does work and improve upon it still.
Yes.
So
we came up with... Xeno asked me to come up with a fair few designs and assets kind of thing. And the people on our Discord have been helping an awful lot with both me and Nasuth coming up with icons and things that they've been giving us a bit of feedback on. And it was a great little process. So, how much have we actually done? Do we want to, as Nasuth said, do we want to show off a little example of what you've managed to code in?
Actually,
so let's show off the genres first, because obviously people are aware of this. So hit the button, Nasuth. Woo! Transition.
Woo! Right. Oh, it didn't show up. Hang on.
And then cool. Right. So as you can see here, that these are the list of all the different genres that we have currently cherry picked throughout the entire system. Nasuth has now unfortunately brought up something else, so we can't actually see them anymore. But the big thing is that these are the X many that we have come up with thus far, and we've tried to go for icons that have a strong silhouette. Is that
Well, at least an easily recognizable silhouette in there, in a way that we've presented them. So simple things like action being an action, call out, romance being a heart. Sci-fi was a bit of an interesting one, figuring out what we more sort of with space versus what.
Oh yeah,
anything else.
A bit of a challenge.
But drama, comedy, tragedy, really easy because we know exactly what those are from theatre masks. Fantasy, the idea is that when you scale them down and you see them in the top left, with our new interface that we will show off to you, even tiny, they should be at least a little bit identifiable from each other, and you can see them. So, that was the overall goal.
Let's actually preview it off now. Let's preview it now.
Alrighty.
So,
that didn't actually turn it off. Hang on, I think I have to hit the actual clear button. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Watch the magic here, guys, because you can see wherever we don't have a fixed icon yet, it will in fact just give us the genre thing.
Yeah.
But did you notice it moves?
It moves.
The cover artwork for any given show will briefly appear on screen, and Xeno's got it coded so that it will disappear again after it's had a time on screen, so it doesn't take up too much real estate.
Not everything has cover art, like Castlevania Nocturne,
which is weird.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not. It's not actually technically an anime. It's not recognized by AniDB.
Right.
So how this works is it shows up the actual thing for the actual thing. The first slide in the top left hand corner with like the year, the season, the studio, the number of episodes. It shows off all of this information for 15 seconds, and then it'll swap to the next one for 15 seconds, right? However, if we fixate on a specific show, it will stay there for 45 seconds and then just flat out go away. Yep. Right? It will just, so then it's just the screenshots of the shows that we're talking about. This is all up for negotiation, change, modification, so on and so forth. If you guys are saying like, we don't easily see and understand some of these genre icons, we can go ahead and change them.
Yep.
We put a lot of one of the ones that we had, which was romance, was this flower with a stem, but when we got it to this small, it was unintelligible. You couldn't make out what the hell it was. So we changed it to a heart.
Looking at monster, I might want to look for a different one on that one too. But it's a learning process.
Yes. The other side of it is that we wanted our webcams to stand out more from the background images, which is where Thaylien came up with that lovely radiant blue that basically sits between us, and it really does separate us from the background image. It felt very flat before.
Yeah.
And that's basically
while still giving you a really nice
redesign.
view of the background images anyway.
Yes.
And also for when we do have one, the information icon has its own little home up there as well, with our Kanpai Cast logo.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Right. Okay. Well, that's honestly a lot of talking about this, and I don't. Obviously, you'll see the new memes layout when we get to
there. Yeah.
Expect new guests. Expect them soon. And yeah, should we move on to the titular topic?
They'll be here.
They'll be here.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think we can just stay on this page. On this transition too. If you want to just hop into your first one, Xeno.
Right. So what we've decided to do is go for the shows that are currently still ongoing, before we talk about the ones that have actually concluded for the season. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, which is still ongoing, is Shangri-La Frontier. And personally, I'm going to give this a 4-star acquired taste.
Right. I think I can agree with that.
Now,
yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So
yeah, even though I didn't like it, I think I can agree with that because yeah.
So this is still ongoing. It's still got more to come. It's very well animated, but the thing that I really like about this is that it follows a lot of game tropes, gameplay tropes and things that are believable. I can believe characters would go through this. Now, there's still some dumb crap, which is what things like Sword Art Online fall into, which is like, oh yeah, this is the only one of its kind. I have no idea what this screenshot is because it's being obstructed. But, it's the only one of its kind. And like, hold on, you're trying to tell me, like, out of all the millions of players of this VR game, again, there's also one of the most recent episodes where the family basically have they will always have weekend meals together, right? It's the rule of the house. You can play whatever shitty VR MMO game you want, but you gotta have lunch with us on Sunday and Saturday, right? And seeing the diverse nature of all the crazy characters that this family contributes. Like, the mum is a massive bug nut, right? You know, she loves like butterflies and all sorts of different insects and things like that.
That explains all the butterflies in the house. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yes. The sister wants to be like a fashion model and things like this. And the father is a huge fishing nut. And like he'll come back to the house with the like giant tuna and stuff like this. And, like, yeah, we're eating tuna for like the next week. But yeah, it's great. It's like, you know, and it's tongue in cheek, it's silly. It still has plot, so you're not just like basically watching it. You're not just watching a let's play effectively and getting bored, you know. So I enjoy this series. I think it's very high caliber. I'm glad it's getting 2 cores.
One of the things I did like about it was that they weren't afraid to actually put the main character in dangerous situations. Like obviously it's a video game, so there's no real danger, at least not by the point that I got to. But like. Yeah. There are dangerous situations for the character that he's actually underpowered for, which is nice to see in a show like this.
And it's very much the case of like, if you know the story, the urban story of Let Me Solo Her or Elden Ring, right? It's like this is the character. Yeah, this is who Sunrook is, right? So. But that's pretty much my take on it. I think it's a brilliant series. If you like this sort of thing with, like, you know, video game tropes and stuff, I think you should check it out and things. It's
very high quality animation. The acting seems good. I loved the Yakuza bunny. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there to love. I couldn't get into the video game aspect for some reason. That's fine.
I get that. Can we move on to the next one then?
Do we want to go in regular order, or do we want to go in reverse order and have Thaylien go next? We don't usually go in reverse order.
Go Thaylien.
Okay, so again, we're gonna pick up something that is still continuing on, and one of my particular favorites is Undead Unluck.
It should transition in a second.
No worries. So I'm gonna put Undead Unluck at a solid 5-star acquired taste.
All right.
Okay, it's not a must-watch because it's easy to get a little bit off course on the first 6 episodes, where they're still finding their theme. You know, they go from one thing to another, and it's only once you actually get to episode 6 and get a proper look at just how big their world is that they're trying to show you that you really get, oh yes, that's what this show's actually going for. But every bit of the step along the way I found really entertaining. Undead Unluck is a universe where there is a god in some way.
Yes,
and it's not a nice
confirmed god. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And it's a universe where there are rules, there are phenomenon, and there are people who negate rules. The negators are 2 titular heroes, Undead and Unluck, are negators who have completely different kind of skill sets. Undead literally cannot die. It's a compulsory self-activation power. So he just can't die. You chop his head off, he'll regrow from his head. Unluck is a compulsory activation, but it does it on others. So she projects it outwards. Anybody that touches her skin will become unlucky in proportion to how much she likes them, how long they had contact with her, and what kind of contact they had with her. So
the fully cooling kind of contact?
Oh, in several cases. So the show obviously starts with the 2 of them meeting. Unluck is unhappy with her powers. She's been alone. She hasn't been able to have her hair cut. She's basically retreated into manga and neat life because she can't touch anybody. And she's about to jump in front of a train. And for all the results that will give. And it's only the fact that Undead appears and say, "Hey, I finally found you. I think you can kill me." And like picks her up, drops to the right side of the bridge railings, and
then in the process, because now he's touched her,
the bridge breaks and drops him off in front of the train himself, and thus starts off an epic chase across
that basically
Japan,
sets the tone for the
being
entire series.
Yeah, it's this, Andy or Undead regularly like bites parts of his fingers off to fire them at other people and regenerate them. He will put a sword, sheath it through his shoulder blade,
or in his arm,
safe.
or
in his arm, in his forearm to do Iado draws with it. And the overall theme, right, is that they have to find out how this world works. And once they find out how this world works, they might even be able to fix their own powers, become happy by no longer even being negators.
Not only that, but like maybe even fix the world. Maybe stop the need to hunt down negators. But I mean, who knows?
Yes.
I think one of the big things for me with this series is that the first 6 episodes feel very aimless, feel very listless. It feels like they're just coasting from event to event to event. And it didn't really work. And I would have, back then, I would have given this like a 1 or a 2 star acquired taste. But seriously, since episode 6, it's just instantly skyrocketed to a 5-star acquired taste. It has that purpose now. And
exactly.
It just works.
It's gone from a reactionary series of events to a proactive series of events where they're actually doing things and telling the story.
For me, that was the moment that they met Shen and the other person, because now they had this goal. They had this, we're going to get on the round table. We're going to change things. That sort of attitude. And the one that really sealed it for me was facing Unchanged. Even though her powers were a little weird to me, just the interpersonal stuff that was going on really like cinched it for me. It was like, oh, this show has the potential to get real deep.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I think it's different for different people. Like, everyone will have. I think everyone will really enjoy this, but it will be a different point in the series when you're.
Contrast, my point was the dual part where the two of them are painting on the shore.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she puts
Unlock
puts a load of sparkling lights in the sky, and you realise the sky doesn't have stars.
Mm-hmm.
And later on in the show, as a punishment to the world,
spoilers. Do we want to put on spoilers? Do we want to
from the Spoiler King? Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, let's spoiler this. Sorry, gents and ladies, spoilers. So as a punishment for not doing tasks for God, the galaxy is released, and suddenly the world lives in a universe where there was always a galaxy.
Yeah,
and all the consequences that will happen. But for
including
aliens,
ridiculous.
Yes, but for the negators, they can remember the world before.
Yeah.
It's the same with when they capture the UMA language, and so everybody else's language becomes English, universally English, and it's only the negators that can still speak their own language and often can't speak English, and that's how you tell them apart now.
Which makes me wonder if there are things out there like UMA Luck and UMA Dead or whatever. And so if they capture UMA Death, will Andy be able to die? Well, I mean, I guess without Death there, he wouldn't be able to die either. And no one would be able to die anyway. That's all speculation.
Yes, I know. So, but let's take the spoilers off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, but it's a great show, and everybody will love it for different reasons.
So the one that I have that's going on till next season is Apothecary Diaries. And it would probably help if I stopped moving things around first. But if I had my notes open so I can tell you what I gave this, Oh wow, I actually rated this really high. This is one of my top rated. This is a must watch 5-star to me, honestly.
Yes.
Because it's got a little bit of everything, and it weaves it together into a tapestry that's just, you have to see it. I didn't actually reset that. There we go.
Well, you did now.
So there is, essentially, this is a period piece, where I don't know exactly what era it is, but it's in China, during the dynastic era, and this girl who, she's a poor girl, lives in the slums, is friends with prostitutes. Her dad is a doctor, and so she has learned like some apothecary skills. And one day, while she's out picking some herbs, she gets captured and taken away to the rear palace to work as a servant to well, that's where the concubines live. And then through a series of events, she kind of gets noticed. I'm not going to tell you how, because I think that scene is really good in and of itself. I think Xenos might have actually gone over it before. She gets noticed and ends up becoming a servant directly to one of the concubines. And the show like slowly becomes this mystery that there's. I like to think that there are little arcs going on. So like you've got the arc where she gets captured and is taken to the palace and is introduced to everyone. And you've got that first big mystery there that she's got to solve. Like, why is one of these concubines having a problem? And then they move on from there to like establishing her with the concubines and her relationships with the other people. So like you've got the guy that's in charge, this guy on screen right now, who's kind of in charge of the whole rear palace, and he's really obsessed with her because she's smart and he likes that.
It's not just that though, but also the fact that he can't just get her to do what he wants just because he looks pretty.
Everyone else falls all over themselves for him. They think he's a eunuch. I'm not sure that he actually is, but it's just there's always a mystery to solve, and there's the theme is always like ignorance is a sin, right? It's better to be smart and to learn things and to not fall victim to things that could have easily been avoided if you'd learned just a tiny little bit. And that continues all the way through until where we are now, to the point that I think she's even making some assumptions that she shouldn't be.
Yeah,
and they're still waiting to unveil that.
It's an excellent series. Like I think your rating is spot on, right? I think it will be easier if it was dubbed in English to comprehend, because there's been like multiple instances where yourself, myself, and Loz have all sat down together trying to understand how all the pieces fit in the narrative. And not giving any spoilers, it is difficult to comprehend how certain events are happening and why they're turning out a certain way. We've sat down and we've spoken about the same one plot point about 3 times, and it's super intriguing to have. Again, it's also
I do think all the pieces are there. Like, I think this is one of those cases where they're not hiding things from us. It's just that they're also using misdirection. Like, they've given us her speculation, and because of that, it's hard to think of what it could actually be, because that's now in your head.
Yes. So this is an absolute banger of a series, and
it's funny too. Like, it's not just serious. There are all these amazing moments of like subtle humor that are just so good.
And then there's episode 4, where Mamau goes to town.
But yeah, I don't really have any. Just go watch it. It's really good. I don't have anything else to say about it.
Let's move on. Oh yeah, it's me. Shit. All right. Okay. Right. Oh. Okay.
Xeno's got so many to pick from, and they're all shit.
No. Right, but I'm getting it out of the way. I'm talking about the shittest one first.
Oh, good.
motherfucking Kingdoms of Ruin, right?
Oh, good.
It's a 0-star poop. It is utterly shit, right? It is. I honestly, I genuinely hate this series, and it kind of over the course of the series, I have been talking about the to probably more offline than online. I've been talking to Naz of things about like my disdain for the unreliable narrator. I don't like the unreliable narrator because it makes it very difficult for you to actually fully follow what's going on, right? Because you can't trust what's going on. I don't think that's it. I don't think it's the unreliable narrator. I think the problem I have is I can't make up what the fuck I want to do with this plot author.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the problem, because you're just bouncing from plot point to plot point constantly, and the main narrative doesn't actually fucking start until episode 10, and it has 3 episodes to go.
What?
Right? Yes. Like, this is 100% set up to have 2 cores, right? And in all honesty, if a second core comes out, I am not watching it. This series is goddamn awful, right?
So wait. Episode 6 with the whole reveal of the queen thing. That wasn't the start of the main plot?
No.
Oh my god.
Right?
Oh my god.
Characters are being set up left, right, and center. So, like, I think it's episode 3, right? We follow the narrative of this girl who is going around the epicenter of where our main character busted out and destroyed everything. She's or maybe 4 actually. She's wandering around and she's trying to, like, she's feeling guilty because effectively the guy that she was dating at the time, at the date, he was being a bit pushy and things, trying to convince her to do stuff that she didn't want to do. And basically, when it was a case of she could have helped him, she didn't, and he ends up dying. And then so she's like, she left him there to die, and she gets a lot of shit. This character had a whole episode built up for them. We never see that character again. What was the fucking point of that? Right? Another character in that episode appeared for a brief, like, 2-minute period. Right? Again, like, one of those secret director characters. Like, we don't see them until the last episode again, and it's just like,
wow.
The narrative telling of this, it makes no fucking sense. There's the animation gets a bit lackluster. Like, the big thing is the animation isn't bad for the vast majority of the series, right? But the plot is just nonsensical gibberish. There is no ultimate end goal for the whole damn series, and that is what pisses me off the most. This had so much potential, but it's just angry people screaming at each other, murdering each other, and that's it. It's honestly, it's just trash, and it's really disappointing. So I do not recommend anyone watch this.
Now, you did talk about the last 3 episodes being where all the plot happens. I have noticed a trend in anime. I don't know if you guys have noticed it either. There's like 6 episodes of character introduction, then 3 episodes of minor plot, and then or rising plot, and then 3 episodes of major plot. Have you guys noticed this happening a lot?
It can happen quite a bit, right? But with the likes of Kingdoms of Ruin, we had 2 episodes of character introductions, and then 6 episodes of horseshit plot, and then 3 episodes of, like, maybe plot. It's honestly like,
gotcha.
I remember you linked me an article for Anime Planet. Anime News Network. Sorry, about one of the episodes in Kingdoms of Ruin, and basically it's this huge city, right? That's in complete ruins, but it's full of sex robots, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the sex robots have become sentient, and all they want to do is do the nasty, but they want to be free of wanting to do the nasty. And it's like the whole episode is about building an EMP to take them all out. That's it. That is the...
Okie dokie.
I hate the series. The series is awful. It had so much fucking potential. And the animation budget on it is just like, wow. Anyway, right.
Okay.
I'm happy to move on.
Yeah, I think I've got one more that's coming up. Continuing over.
Yep.
And that is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
I just want to point out, before we get into it, look at the Mal's ranking. Look at the Mal ranking. We got Mal rankings here, right? With Mal ratings. So my anime list, Frieren's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I feel it's very deserved. This is one of my must watches for the season, and because of its more laid back nature, I'm going to put this at a solid 3-star must watch.
Now, he means 5-star. You all know he means 5-star.
Why didn't the must? There we go.
Because even if it's there are some things in this show that are too quiet, but they're done really well because of it. So it's a simple show where the hero and his friends defeated the demon lord. They all came home and they all went their separate ways. And 50 years later, the elven wizard among them, the elven spellcaster, hasn't even really blinked because she lives so long. And 50 years on, her friends start to die. And it's only after they do that she realizes she didn't actually get to know them that well. And has decided that she's going to get to know humanity and people, the shorter-lived races in the world. And her journey really truly begins when she picks up Fern, who is one of her aging and nearly dying friends, has been raising an orphan. And he basically semi-tricks Frieren into hanging around long enough to train the girl up to be a strong enough spellcaster that Fern can go with Frieren on her journey. Because initially Frieren was like, no, she'll be a burden. She will die if I take her out there without being competent at spellcasting. And he says, oh, okay. Well, would you translate this book for me? I think it'll take 5 years or so. So which she doesn't mind. Frieren will happily spend 50 years relaxing in a river. She's... One of the more recent episodes, she says, this is a great place. We'll stay here for about a decade. And her friends have said, we'll stay here for a week. This is... she is the ultimate low-energy hero. I love it. It's hard to get her out of bed. We've got Fern, who is a great counter, socially awkward, very quiet, and always speaks her mind.
I haven't made it as far as you, but I would say this almost becomes at least from what I've seen, it also kind of becomes as much about Fern learning about the world as it is Frieren learning how to actually enjoy the world. Even more than that, she picks up more companions. Oh, okay. And it's about teaching. Right. So you pick up more companions and teach them about the world and show them what they can be. And she ends up leading this group that are all of them seeking something out of the world, but don't know what it is, including herself. And they're going to go and find it. And it's absolutely brilliant, the emotions they put into everything. I think I've memed on it a couple of times, but Frieren is the ultimate thing of like texting, hey, what are you doing? I'm talking to the girl I love. Right, sure, I'm going to read a book. Talk to you later. 50 years later, wait a minute. Catches on. Yeah. But at the same time, the whole world is full of this rich history, and they're exploring
and actually taking time to get places, which, you know, they've been traveling together for 4 years now, according to the series at the point I'm at. Because it takes them, say, 6 months to do a research task in one place, and then travel on to another.
Oh, like
and
with with the flowers, where they spent like 5 or 6 months there just doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 months at another place clearing out a harbour. It's a really patient journey, as it were. But at the same time, they're not doing it for the journey as such. It's for the things they do along the way. And if you're not getting a little bit emotional by like episode 1 or 3, then, you know, it's the one thing. There are these tearjerker moments, and that can be, for some people that I've spoken to, and I will not name them for fear they get run down by Xeno, that don't like that kind of thing.
But so, I feel like this isn't just tearjerker. Like this builds it up. This earns that moment when it you know, pulls at your heartstrings. It's not just cheaply like we're cribbing this. We know that this hits people really. You know, we're gonna kill that John Wick's dog because we know that is an easy way to get people invested. You know, it's not as much as I love John Wick. It's not that. It's much more built up.
Exactly that.
I think one of the most important parts of Frieren is the world building, because you know, we'll talk about other series like oh god, was it the Demon something? So the Demon Sword Master.
Oh yeah,
Demon Sword Master
Academy.
Like, it's a great series, or even the Vexations of the Shutting Vampire Princess. Like, they're both great series, but the problem is, like, you don't really understand the world that they're in and things. Whereas Frieren takes the time to properly invest, and a lot of people don't realize how much they like world building, not just characters go around smashing shit.
Either way, I've talked far too long on this one. Let's move on to the next one.
Well, I fucking love this.
Yeah, I don't remember what I gave this, but it's good. Right, so I'm gonna do a Returner's Magic Should Be Special, which I initially really liked when it started. But now it wasn't acquired taste for 4-star. At the 6-episode review, it is now a nothing special 4-star. Now, I do want to say I'm still really enjoying this. It's trash, but it's fun trash. It's a little smarter than your average trash. So that's why it gets a 4-star. But it is still trash.
Sorry, you say that as if this hasn't finished?
No, there's a second season. Well, I think there's a second season. I actually don't know if it's been confirmed or not. I can't remember.
Right. Okay.
But it does end sort of on a cliffhanger. Well, I say sort of. It ends on a very big cliffhanger. The show is, generally speaking, style over substance. Like magic looks really good, really pretty. They don't really bother explaining to... I mean, you can see here they've got these 7 circles. They don't really go into what the 7 circles really mean. They don't go into how people actually conjure their spells. They just sort of... circles appear in the air, and the spell is cast out of the circle. But I wish I could... And when I say... But I do say style over substance, right? But I wish I could play a clip of one of the last few episodes where there's a group of people attacking this magic wall, because it's just copy-paste CGI, and it's really bad CGI, too.
Oh my god.
It's really bad. Similarly, I feel like the mechanism that's sent him back in time hasn't really been explained well enough either. Or, like, also the fact that they've glossed over that it's unexplained. Like, he hasn't really considered... even internally, what has sent me back. It's just, you know, he's on his path. Still not enough stuff about the alternate present or even the future. We've seen a couple of little flash forwards, but really there's not really too much about that, and I'd really like to see the alternate present. Falls into the all too familiar trap of 6 episodes of character development. I already talked about that. Everyone else seems locked to a specific element. Like there's the ice girl, there's the the fire guy, there's the sword guy, there's the wind girl, but he just kind of does whatever. I don't know if it's because his magic is inversing, which is like he can undo any other spell, but it's I don't know. It's just I don't like that. Given that they spend so much time trying to make him seem like he's not overpowered, the fact that he can just kind of cast whatever he wants as well, even if it's slightly weaker, I don't know. It's weird. But we got some good points too, because it's not all bad. Otherwise, obviously, I like it. Show does its best job in introducing and strengthening character traits. For example, at the end of the tournament, there's a tournament arc that ends at like episode 6, or 7. Anyway, we learn a lot about how the characters view their desire to get stronger, how they go from just wanting to be members of the school to actually wanting to excel and become better. There's an air hockey game later on that I won't really get into why they're playing it, but it ends up being a team bonding thing in the end. And really good job with character interactions, but then it slows down kind of a bit when they start picking up the major action. So you kind of lose a lot of it until the very, very end. I say it is actually getting a second season. It's in my notes. There you go.
Okay.
Starting to make moves that might reveal his foreknowledge to other people, which I think is actually good. People are starting to notice that, which could be a problem for him maybe in the future. During a lecture, they reinforce the threat that the shadow worlds pose. So in this world, there are these occasional shadow worlds that appear and sort of erode away bits of the world that they're in. So if they don't clear the shadow world, if they don't defeat it, then a little bit more of their world is lost. And so that wasn't really explained very clearly at first, but it is much clearer now. And they do try to make it seem like he's still beatable right up to the climax, which is nice. But also he has the plot armor of just in the nick of timing it a lot. So, we got swings and roundabouts. It's decent. It's trash, but it's fun trash.
Fair enough. Right. Should we move on to my next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking this in ranking order, I suppose, kind of. Right. 16-bit sensation, another layer. So I'm gonna give this a 3-star, nothing special. Right. The series has a lot of potential, but unfortunately it kind of falls flat a bit because like a lot of the series is about the direction that video game production could have, what ideally happens when you have a monopoly on a situation. And it's really interesting because this is sort of some of the dynamic that we're seeing in real life today. But how they play off that is kind of like, it's too kooky, right? It is too like
madcap.
Someone just try to watch The Matrix and or what's going on here. So it goes a little too kooky. But the bulk of the series is really good, right? I very much enjoy the series. There is a lot. They explain the whole reason why the main character is actually time traveling, which is great. They explain they have other characters time traveling, which again it kind of just it takes away that, like, well, is it just the one character that's going back and forth in time? The animation does get, unfortunately, lackluster towards the end, which sucks, but it's really interesting to how they direct the narrative, right? So one of the big crux of any industry is how you get there. Like, it's we don't want a monopoly on a situation, because when you have a monopoly on a situation, it takes away the urgency of making a good product. It's just like, no, we've produced our thing, you're just going to have it at the end, right? And this is kind of the moral to the story. How they get there is interesting, but the end of the series just feels a bit too zany for me. It's a good series. I wouldn't say it's the best. Right? Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I like their attention to detail. I like the way that they, in old school pixel art based games, they're like, well, if you do this like feathering effect kind of thing where you're mixing the two colors, you you get the appearance of another color entirely. And you might only have like 8 colors, but if you mix the colors properly, you can have more. And it's a really, really, really nice way of looking at it. And again, it's down to, I think we see this a lot in smartphone games of present day, where so many smartphone games are basically copy paste crap, right? And those smartphone games just cease to exist after a short period of time. But
watch Kanpai News, everyone.
Yeah. But again, it's like, what happens when you start mass producing mediocre content? And it's really funny. You actually get to see some of the modern day mobile games, right? In an American art style, and they look horrific.
Oh no.
So you see things like Fate Grand Order, but from America, and it's just like, what? No. So yeah, it is interesting, but it's not the best, it's not the worst. If you got other stuff to watch that. But if you got opportunity to watch this, I would say go for it.
What platform was this on? I didn't pay attention when it was up there.
And
now there's no way to know.
Well, maybe I could build a thing to do that, but give me just a hot second so I can let it, because I just hit the refresh button.
Right.
And it is Crunchyroll.
Well, there you go. Go. If you got Crunchyroll and you got a little time and you want to binge something, there you go.
Yep, there you go then. Right. Thaylien.
Alrighty, I'm going to address one of the elephants in the room.
Oh dear.
Goblin Slayer.
Which elephant?
Oh,
I see 3.
Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, there is a... You stop that. I know what your third one is. Okay, Goblin Slayer. How the mighty have fallen.
Dear.
So this one's going down. It's actually dropped down to the Nothing Special rank at 5-star Nothing Special.
That high? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's, again, it's because it's still riding from being Goblin Slayer. And it just, the animation quality has dipped. The episodes went all over the place in terms of where they're actually deciding to head in tone, and the little plot points they went through seemed just to pick random stories that would make the characters look good for a bit and then bring them back to the next one. Bring them back to the start of the next scene that they're going to go for.
I'm going to say I will want to get into spoilers, because I will want to quiz you to see whether or not... No. I want to see if they actually covered the plot points from the 2 stories that they just didn't cover. So yeah, right. just keep going. Okay,
so I did like that there is some development of the other characters. Goblin Slayer seems to have they're seeming to like hammer this in that he's like half married to the farm girl already. Right. With every time he's about to do something, he checks in with her and she's already understanding. They definitely did a couple of things where they could just, they decided that, oh yes, we're going to put them in swimsuits for a bit, and we're going to
That was the marriage journey, right?
Yeah, in that little journey they went down to watch the elf girl's sister get married, and just when they go through a goblin ambush, and the other side of it, let's put on some bikinis and swim in the water. What tone is going on here?
That whole sequence was just so bad.
Then you have legitimately clever bits, like killing a giant monster by using a simple spell and an existing mechanism we've seen, and killing something way above their pay grade in terms of being silver and iron rank. And going out on an adventure where they actually end up nearly dying for dramatic effect. It's the tone changes on this season have been dramatic. So this one is definitely a fall from grace, where there's some great scenes, but then there's just some terrible scenes and some terrible animation to go with
the animation. I was going to say, how does that hold up? Because
there is another instance as bad as Goblin Slayer trying to walk upstairs.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Right.
So,
shall we get into the spoiler?
I'm really upset that they have basically relegated the Sword Maiden's character to just a thirsty thirst trap.
Oh God, jilted girlfriend.
Should we go into?
Let's go into spoilers. Lino, ask your questions quick.
Right. Okay. So, I can guarantee that thirsty thirst trap Sword Maiden is actually a legitimate thing.
I know, but I hate it.
Yes. So she becomes thirsty for Goblin Slayer because Goblin Slayer knows what she goes through. She feels like this bond to him, so on and so forth. She will actually send him mail.
Yes,
but does she get angry that he's going on like missions and stuff and not staying there with her?
Little bit, little pouty whenever
she does in the show.
In the show, she gets pouty when he goes and has to talk with other girls, for example.
Yeah,
right. But
sorry,
it's right. But in the manga, as far as I remember it, he doesn't go back to Watertown, right? They're basically pen pals. That doesn't happen in the manga.
In the show, he's tasked with transporting the Archbishop herself to the capital city, right? Because there's likely to be goblin ambushes, and there is one.
Okay, so
they actually have a thing where she's interacting with the whole group and everything.
Okay, does the town that he is based in have the festival, right? So there's a festival in the manga where basically our priestess, right, she fills the role of the Sword Maiden because the Sword Maiden can't come to town, and she does this festival.
Happen.
That is also the same story.
Doesn't happen.
Right, that's the same story where Goblin Slayer and the receptionist go on a date. Right?
Yep, that doesn't happen either.
Right, that really upsets me. The next story, right, does the farm get attacked again?
No.
Right, because this is another story where effectively there's another goblin attack, but it's being controlled by a dark elf. Right?
Nope, that doesn't happen in this one.
And again, it's like, I don't understand why they're not telling these stories. Because they're really fundamental.
They've gone to the wedding where they had the giant weird dinosaur that they had to take down and then take out a tower full of the goblins.
Not in the manga.
And this is where Priestess Girl finds that she can purify blood into water. She accidentally purifies the blood of a goblin shaman into water to take him out of the fight for a while. And that's used to great effect in a later bit where there's a dark ritual being thing. Yeah.
That would kill you.
Where there's a dark ritual that's trying to raise a demon. And she purifies the water. So it purifies the blood in the summoning circle into water to prevent it from taking effect. Yeah.
Like,
but then there is a bit of like I said, the moments that do work are great. But okay, this is one of the things that really affects me.
Look at that face.
They cannot draw those slits.
The horns.
If he moves
they can't do the horns either. Look how bad the horns are in the perspective.
No. When he turns, those slits vibrate around.
Yeah,
because the in-between artwork is just rubbish. There was like 4 frames in him turning for the helmet. Anyway,
there's never a scene of his face or his armor that looks good, really.
No, but there is a moment that's really good where they summon the goblins manage to summon a demonic hand, a hand of a demon that can cast ice, and they use a bit of inventiveness to throw oil on the floor, and then were able to grapple it and slide it into a ancient tech lift shaft, an elevator shaft, and drop it down. Then Priestess puts a shield over the whole of the elevator, while Goblin Slayer calls the elevator up, and the elevator crushes the demon hand between it and the shield.
Right.
And it's actually, I'm like, okay, that's inventive. That's a guaranteed earned monster kill above their pay grade. Why can't they do that with more of this?
That's what I expect. That's what I expect from Goblin Slayer, and
yeah. And then no, it just immediately turns around, and turns out that the things they were setting up before, it's actually a dark cult, and the Sword Maiden comes to save them with an entire army of mages. Ugh. Some of them in bikini armor as well.
Wow. Okay. Should we turn off the spoilers now?
Yes.
To be honest, like,
I am disappointed.
The thing is, I'm disappointed, but there's Goblin Slayer Year Zero, which I think is supposed to be a bit of a spin-off, which is like pre the events of Goblin Slayer Season 1. I don't know why they didn't turn that into a series, because there's so much more of that than there are of what they... Anyway, should we move on to the next?
Yes, I've doubled the time on this one.
Right. So next up for me is Spy Family, which I did finish watching. I didn't finish watching Goblin Slayer. I did manage to finish watching Spy Family, and I'm in some ways I'm kind of glad I did. If this was just the cruise ship arc, this would be and maybe teaming on the field trip thing. This would be a must watch, just like the first half of season 1. But as it is, it's a nothing special 4-star.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's still watchable. It's not terrible. It's just, boy, it's not for me. The cruise ship arc actually lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought it was just going to be like 3 episodes. It was more like 4 and a half.
Yeah.
And it was really good. You got to see Yor doing a lot of action. You got to see Anya kind of helping out from the sidelines while trying to keep her own identity hidden. You got to see some some cute family stuff now and then. It was a really good blend of stuff. I was really impressed. And then it just kind of went back to Becky's Becky is Anya's friend at school, right? The girl. Yeah. Becky is obsessed with Lloyd and spends a whole episode trying to get him to notice her. And misinterpreting his reactions as, oh man, we're in love now. Boy howdy, can't tell you how much I loved that episode.
Going from Pythagorean theorem to childhood crushes. Yep.
Oh yes, Although there was also we got more Nightfall, pining over Twilight as well, and like, oh boy, yep. That's not really all I have to say. If it was the cruise ship, it'd be great. It like more stories like that, perfect. But everything else, whew. It's cute. It's fine. It's cute. If you like really cute stuff, go for it. But don't expect any spy, just expect family.
I feel that the series is heavily relying more on the narratives that are like one chapter long in the manga than, because like they succeeded really well in the first adaptation, because there was the Anya party where she wanted to do the whole castle and things. That was one chapter in the manga, and they managed to turn it into a whole episode for the series, and they did an absolutely fantastic job. But then they seem to be relying on that a lot more. Like again, there was I don't even know if, I'm sure they covered this in probably the last season, where oh god, what's his name? Lloyd is breaking into the school to adjust Anya's grades, otherwise she will get kicked out. And he ends up finding a subpar spy that is doing it for Damien's family. Yeah?
Yeah.
So again, that was one chapter, but I'm damn well sure they would have made that an entire episode in the actual series. And it's like, so they're just going to be adding more filler to it.
Yes, well, yeah. So much of the missions just kind of feel like they don't have a goal that advances the story in any way.
Yeah. I think the similarity is between in Frieren, you will have stories that are like equivalent to one chapter long, so it's half an episode, and then there's another half an episode story, right? But it feels like with Spy Family, they've got like one chapter story that they're pulling out into a full episode, and thus they're padding out and things like this, and it just drags it on. Is that an accurate statement?
No, because there's a lot more two story episodes in this season.
Okay.
But even the ones that I liked, like the one where we get to see Damien. So Damien, we get to see things from his perspective for a couple of episodes, mostly just one. And we get to see that he's actually been really, really overworked. He's studying super hard to try and live up to his family's expectations. And the teachers notice this, and so they contrive to get him and his friends out into nature for a little while, for a day. They call it a field trip, but it's really just an excuse to get away from the school, to relax, to get to kind of reconnect with themselves. Really good episode. Really like it. Don't know what it has to do with the spy or family aspect of anything, or advancing Ostia. Ostia? I think it's Ostia. Or no, I don't remember. Either the East and the West. Advancing that whole plot line sort of thing. Is there going to be any more of that? Is there really going to be any advancement on the spy side of things? I don't think so. So I'm just kind of. I think I'm done with this show.
Fair enough. Right. Should we move on to the next one then?
Yes.
Let's.
Cool. I'm gonna do, as soon as I can find it. There it is. Right. I'm gonna do the Demon Swordmaster of Excalibur Academy. So I'm going to give this a 5-star, nothing special. Right. Now, this isn't for everyone, but this I like. Right. Personally, I enjoy this more than a lot of other stuff, but I'm thinking more in line for everyone else. I'm thinking more in line for your average viewer. I don't think this is going to keep a lot of attention. The animation style is not that great. The plot is fairly obvious, but it's consistent throughout the entirety of the series, right? Which is a plus that fucking Kingdoms of Ruin fucking failed at. It's again, it's a character in where you have basically a bad guy be the main protagonist, right? And those are the sorts of narratives I really like. Not like I wouldn't compare this to Anos Volleygol from Overlord. No, that's wrong character. Einstein from Overlord, where it's like, just your random Joe Blogs becoming portrayed as a villain. This is this is a lich that ends up basically reincarnating and is mistaken for a good guy. I like the consistency throughout the entire series in terms of the narrative, but it does... The animation really fucking lets it down. Like, the studio behind this, like, they didn't have the greatest budget. There's some bits that are there as CG, and it's just like, oh... If this does get a second season, I will watch it 100%, but I doubt it will. Character development and growth and things are great. You get to see, like, there are more characters in this series that have, like, proper backstories and things. It just makes it feel like, okay, so there's more to the world than meets the eye. That, we don't just have our titular characters and then the side characters are meaningless. There is actually a lot more to those characters. We find out that one of them actually, can we hit the spoilers real quick?
Just a little quick spoiler. Just a little tiny quick
spoiler. Right. We find out that, like, one of them, it was born on, like, when a specific star, or when the moon was red or something like that, and as a result, according to the culture of the nation that they came from, that child was to be put to death, right? Because that child would bring about the apocalypse and shit like this, which was just it's just bollocks, because it's just superstition. But the child is spared and then taken to another country and things like that. But their sibling is now in rule of the country, and she can't really let known that, like, she's got an older sibling. So again, it's a really nice way of telling the story. You can take the spoilers off now, but the I was down for this. I really enjoyed it. It's dumb, it's fun. If you've got other stuff to watch, I'd totally say go watch that instead. But it's
like the summer B-movie blockbuster stuff, instead of so you got to turn off your brain a little bit, but you would enjoy it when you do.
Yeah, I do feel that this is one that is better binged than watched on a weekly basis, but it's all out now, so you can binge it, right?
I would say even one of my better ones on my list is better binged. And I really, but I get cool. That. Do you think this one would be better? Would be more accessible with, like, an English dub, or do you think the Japanese one, like, brings something extra special to it?
No, I think it would be more accessible with an English dub, but I don't think it would improve the quality that much. Okay. It's just a simple case of, like, the animation is just, like, they clearly had a very, very limited budget, right?
So at least with the English dub, you wouldn't have to be looking at it at the time.
I suppose, yeah. So it's just But again, there's the whole, like, again, there's the mystery that is there's the mystery of the whole separation between, like, where our Lich character came from and the world he's in now. It's like, what has happened over that many years. So it's really interesting. But right, gotcha. So should we move on to Thaylien's next one?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do a short one this time. This is Berserk of Gluttony. And this is a 4-star pass.
I'm going to actually wait till it comes up before it... There we go.
Yeah, it's a pass. It's 4-star because it has some entertainment value, but it's a pass.
Question.
This is one of those shows... Yeah, go on.
Did you finish it?
Yes.
Cool.
This is one of those ones I finished because I try to watch one awful show every season. And I do pick some of the shows I watch specifically so that I find an awful show. And this is one of them. The idea behind this one is simply that in a pure fantasy world, no isekai that we know of, everybody is basically judged based on the ability that they get from, I don't know, heaven, God, whatever it's supposed to be. And the people on top are usually ones with super special ones that allow them to wield holy swords. they become the Holy Knights. And so they could be anything from like the Holy Cross ability, which allows them to make their sword shine with holy light or something. It's those are the people on top, and they're not always nice people. And then there's everybody goes progressively lower and lower until you get to ones that are completely useless, like our hero with the gluttony skill. And gluttony, he believes most of his life that it just makes him really hungry, that he can't ever really be satisfied with food. And so he works menial jobs, he gets bullied by holy knights, and he has an accident where he's been put on a guard detail so that a holy knight can get out of doing it. And there is a robbery in the castle he's guarding. And one of the thieves comes running out, and he stabs the thief with a spear, killing them. And his gluttony skill activates, taking the thief's soul and giving him the thief's stats and abilities. So he has more than one ability. He can basically steal them by killing people. And then it just builds up in your standard overpowered protagonist way. Okay, he just gets stronger and stronger. There's a darkness to his ability where if he goes without feeding more and more, he'll eventually go berserk of gluttony, and then hurt the people around him. There is your standard.
He starts needing like bigger and better souls too. It's almost feels kind of like they wanted to make Dark Souls the anime, because in that one you need to get bigger and stronger souls. And so they just fail.
So the thing is, they do have a little bit of interest. You find out there are other deadly sins, right? And I know I should put on the spoilers tag for this because it is spoiler territory, but nobody really wants to watch this show.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna put them on anyway.
There are other deadly sins. Okay, so he finds the sword that is greed, and oh no, just a little bit behind the scenes. So and greed, basically in the same way that gluttony can absorb skills and stats from other people, greed eats stats. So there is a little bit of interplay between greed and gluttony, where gluttony can steal all the stats from somebody and then feed them to the sword greed to give it more power. Unlock other forms, unlock powerful attacks, and everything else. There is wrath. There's a girl that's been alive for thousands of years, sustained by wrath. She can't taste anything. She can't smell anything. She's lost all her senses, but she's super strong because of wrath. And she wields the great axe Sloth, which gets heavier when it uses its power until nobody else can lift it, and it becomes a destructive force that can kill things. There are plot lines, I guess, behind this, but overall, it's the entire thing is a thing of, oh yes, he's conveniently got enough stats from his previous kills to take on this big enemy. When he does that, he'll do it by feeding his skills to greed and reset himself so that he seems weak for the next bit. And
while we're still in spoilers, I have to know: do they ever advance the plot line with the conspiracy against whatever her name is, the girl that he loves?
Yes, they do. In fact, the entire season is about him following her off to this other place, and then killing the dragon for her.
Okay, because where I stopped, he was at his home village, which got destroyed by a bunch of gargoyles or whatever it was.
Yeah. So he basically goes in and saves his waifu from having to do all this in the first place, even though she does succeed in going off and leading the knights. So there's a little bit of character growth for her, but it is just plot convenience, because it's always strong enough to take on what he needs to, and he'll unlock a new part of his powers by feeding him stats, and it is not worth the time that I'm taking to explain it. So let's pop the spoilers off, and then let's just move on, because it's not worth the time.
Thaylien's done. He's so done.
Final question though. Does the animation of this, if memory serves, wasn't that bad, right?
No, that's what keeps it higher on the star ranking.
Okay,
it's still fairly good animation, through, and some of the combat scenes do actually shine quite well.
Okay.
But they're not.
Right. Give me Onmyoji, please.
Okay. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
So this is a Netflix show, which means it's well, I shouldn't say it means it's got an English dub, but in fact, in this case, it does. The Japanese dub is better, but the English one is serviceable. And it's getting a must-watch 1 star because it's actually really quite. I found it really. Now, admittedly, I am biased towards historical stuff. Why can't I hear Xeno?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just like, he really is.
Yes. That said, that's not why I like this. I like this because it's got like this spirit detective angle thing going on, right? So our Onmyoji, I can't remember his name. Seimei is like a magician, sort of like a court magician sort of person, and his job is to exorcise demons and spirits and things like that. And there's some funky stuff about like how he was born and under the signs that he was born and blah, 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 blah. That's not really important. What's important is the way that they solve these cases. It's never fight them, right? It's never a physical thing. It's always like find out why this is happening. And it's usually like some tragic underpinning, but it always has like a very beautiful ending. Like the first case, which is on screen right now, is this demon woman who appears, and she wants to see, I believe, the emperor, maybe the emperor's son. Yeah. Either way,
no, it's the emperor.
It's the emperor. They summon our Onmyoji, and he's like, but why? The prince or the emperor has everything he needs to fix this, but because of the pressure of the palace and some other reasons, he ends up taking up the case, and in the end we find out that the reason she's doing this is because he visited her when she was younger, and they fell in love, and then he had to leave and go back to his duties, and she waited for him for years until she eventually died. Eventually died and became this demon. And so he plays a trick. He uses an illusion to convince her that the emperor is there, and tells her, "I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Blah blah blah. I still love you," and that's it. That's all it takes, and she's gone. And stuff like that over and over again. There's one with like a demon that plays a flute. There's a dead girl who is living specifically because of somebody that she loves. It's so touching and beautiful and like also interesting. So I really enjoyed this.
So is it earned by discovering what they need and then giving them a bit of closure? Or is it?
I think so. Yes.
Or is there or is it a bit too convenient, like the stuff that some of the Sherlock stuff?
No, I think they do a pretty good job of setting it up every episode. It is a little bit villain of the weeky in that regard, in as much as every episode has a new case, right up until like the last several, like 4 or 5, where it all kind of leads up to one single thing. Leans heavily into connections of making peace, and heavily into themes of connection, making peace, companionship, and loyalty. There are a few plot conveniences at the end, which is probably why it's only a 1 star instead of like a 2 or 3 star. But like just a tiny little bit of stuff that I don't want to get into because it's spoilers. But yeah,
I mean, to me, like I struggle with this. We watched 1 episode. It was 1 episode, wasn't it?
It was just the 1 episode, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with this because it felt like one character's basically walking around with his thumb in his mouth the entire time because he didn't understand anything that was going on. another character that knew everything that was going on, but it was reliant on so heavily on Japanese mythology that if you didn't,
That's fair.
If you weren't familiar with it, it was just like, what the fuck's going on? And again, that one character that knew what was going on, his head was so firmly up his ass. I just wanted to slap him.
Yeah, but that's so that they can unstick pull his head out of his ass later. It's to give you that starting point for character development.
That's fine.
Should that guy have quit while he's ahead?
I'm just gonna assume I've been talking for 5 minutes because this has been like I forgot to put the timer on.
Yeah, it's an interesting series. It's very well animated. Very well animated. When I watched one episode, I was done. I did like, woo! Right, okay. On to Xeno. Right, so I'm gonna move on to yeah, okay, so this is difficult. Right. Because basically I'm rating 3 things that are basically all the same. Right, I'm going to do Zom 100 because we finally got the last 3 episodes of this. So Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Last 3 episodes came out in on Christmas Day itself.
25th, yeah.
Yeah, it came out on Christmas Day itself. And I ended up binging the last 6 episodes together, sort of thing. Because when I found out it was going on hiatus, I was like, well, I'm not fucking chasing this until it's done. Because fuck knows when that's going to happen. So, I'm honestly going to give this a 4-star nothing special. Right? Now, I am probably going to be the person that rates this the lowest, and I'm going to talk to this in terms of the author, and Nasuth is just going to understand exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Okay.
So the author of Zom 100 is also the same author as Alice in Borderland, right? If you've seen Alice in Borderland, you will know the similarities between the series quite easily. The author has an excellent way of defining a character. Everyone is so uniquely different, right? Everyone is so well
but not like quirky, just different. Well, I mean, some of them are quirky.
They got depth. They got depth.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the important thing is like you don't really have massive trope characters within his work. I honestly don't remember his name or their name. But the one thing that is really distracting from the narrative is where they pitch shift what they're talking about to then give the motivation of the character. Now, in a lot of Alice in Borderland, that would be an entire episode to give the motivation of one character, right? Which means that the flow of what you're watching has been broken up massively because, like, okay, well, what the fuck am I watching here? It's okay. We've just completely shifted gears to talk about someone else, right? And it's very disjointed. This happens a lot towards the tail end of Zom 100, right? Where half an episode starts talking about this character, half an episode starts talking about that character. And it's great to have that time to understand the motivations of a villain character. But the way that it's just shoehorned into the narrative, I personally I do not think it works for this kind of story. It works for your protagonists, but not your antagonists. I feel your antagonists need to be introduced earlier on, right? You know, maybe an episode or 2 beforehand, before you spend the time doing it. I don't know if you're trying to raise your hand or not.
Nope. My cat came by, and I think he wanted some water, so I was moving the water into place for him.
That's fine. But the animation of this is absolutely fantastic. The other side to why I'm ranking this as a nothing special is it is your generic zombie survival series, movie, whatever, right? Okay, I'm just going to ask you point blank, right? What is the one thing that makes zombie survival series what's the challenge? What is the cause of all the problems in a zombie survival series? Right?
Other people.
Other people. Right? It's always other fucking people. Right? And that's the problem. That's literally what this is. It's just like, okay, there's only so much I can handle humans being dick to other humans, right? Dicks to other humans. And there's zombies too. Alright? Why couldn't we have... And this is one of the reasons why I like things like Resident Evil so much, is because you have like super intelligent shit going on at the same time. You have Mr. X or Nemesis or whatever that's happening at the same time. What?
You mean the games, not the...
Not the movies.
Well, yeah,
not the movies.
Not the movies.
Because the Resident Evil movies and intelligence does not...
No, true that. But the whole point is, like, it just feels that some of this stuff would be cooler if it focused more on the variations of zombie, right? Like, one of the biggest catches towards this entire series, I think, is like episode 4 or 5. They have a zombie shark, which is literally a shark that has eaten zombies, and now the zombie legs are sticking out at the bottom of the shark and is running around.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah. It's stupid and fun. But
that's some Junji Ito shit right there.
But that's where it stops. Yeah. That is where it just flat out stops. Right? And then it just becomes dumb, and it just becomes like, oh, well, it's just about people being dicks to people while there's zombies on.
That's what made me stop watching The Walking Dead. Jeez.
Exactly, right? Really well animated. People that said that this is anime of the year clearly had no expectations of things like Frieren. But honestly, like, you know, I'm sorry, this is... Again, they do some really clever shit. Like, oh, they need to get rid of zombies, so, you know, how can we get rid of the zombies? They think it through and things, but... Yeah, I wouldn't go my way. Anyway, moving on.
Let's move on to something... Yeah, the other elephant I can call an elephant is Rising of the Shield Hero, Season 3.
Okay.
And once again, I have no fucking clue where this show is going or what it's doing. This is has dropped to a 3-star nothing special at the moment for me. Because I'm not lost, okay? But I have absolutely no clue whether the director has read the manga or not.
Light novel, but yeah.
Because they are just starting plot threads and trying to pretend that it's normal. Right? They're setting it all up. Obviously, they've got to... the theme of this season is that the next giant beast is going to come, but... And in order for them to face it, they have to get all 4 heroes together and start working together. But to do that, there needs to be other plot threads started off. So, like, they need the dragon vein abilities to, like, do choral magic and things. So they start an episode that's got... When in the show did they actually introduce that Naofumi's village is raising, monsters?
What?
Oh, that was like episode 6 or 7?
No.
You mean originally?
No, what are you talking about?
Originally,
because the monster lady, there's a monster lady that shows up, and she's like, I can help you grow your monsters, because they already have some of those giant centipede things in a barn.
No, they didn't.
They didn't introduce the idea that Naofumi's village has monsters in it being raised by them for resources.
50 quid says that was a season 2 thing. 50 quid says that was a season 2.
Yeah, it must have been season 2, and I've glossed over it at some point.
No. It should have been in season 2, but they skipped it.
Okay, so that's the thing. So they just begin this episode talking about the monsters they're raising, and something's a bit off with them, and the yada yada yada. And I'm like, when did this happen? When was this a thing that was in the village? Alternatively, when the plot seems to make sense when they go off after the other heroes, you know. But fuck, if we've seen Thingamy, the spear hero, for
should we spoilers?
You know, I mean, I say we go and find him, then he just vanishes again for most of the rest of the series.
Yeah,
of the season. So that's, you know, no clue. They're
people go to do non-specific training. That's one of the problems. Yeah. They do non-specific training. It's just like it's Dragon Ball Z. We're training. How? We're just training. I think,
and we're getting stronger. We've got this going on. We've got that going on. There's so many watches, and let's stick the spoilers on for this one, because this one's a really confusing thing for me, right? So they introduce this girl. She's turns out she's actually a longtime friend of Raphtalia.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how she joins their side. But then something they introduced at the very start is that Naofumi wants the blacksmith to repair or replicate the gear they had in season 2 in the other world.
Yeah.
He wants to make it so that they can use it here. It's finally come about that towards right at the end of the season, like, is it 12? I think it's actually in episode 12.
No, it's
11 or 12.
Last episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Where they finally get the gear back. And Raphtalia puts it on and everybody's saying, oh, she's so pretty. And then her friend literally just dives in and says, no, take it off. Oh, God, we're in trouble now. And it starts with this whole plot thing that that outfit in this world declares that she intends to become the empress of her home country.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
You think that would be like known information at this point?
Yes, exactly. And the fact that it then just reveals the whole thing of her back then, that she's actually royalty, but her family didn't care about that, so came to this place to get away from it all. But she's being monitored by ninjas the entire time, and so everything that's happened has been monitored the entire time. And now Phoebe gets pissed because they never helped or never did anything, and it actually would have been more convenient if she died. It just what the fuck is that plot thread?
Yeah, no,
I spring that on us in one episode.
I think the problem is, so I feel that. So first off, can we take the spoilers off?
Are we okay?
Yeah. Right. To give my point of view, I think that a nothing special is too harsh. I would have given this like a 1 or 2 star acquired taste. Right. There are a lot of problems with the series, don't get me wrong, but I feel that they really kick off actually around when this happened. When what feels like time is being disrespected, where characters should have gone for a long period of time are then instantly rushed back to the scene, and it's just like, well, I thought you were supposed to have disappeared. There was no indication of a passage of time. Right, and that happens a lot throughout this series. I feel that motivations are so much better conveyed in this than season 2, right? Leagues better, but at the same time, we have issues of we're not allowed to process what is happening, especially to the other cardinal heroes when it's resolved the next episode. It's what happens to the sword hero, we should have had an episode gap in between. What happens to the bow hero, we should have had an episode gap in between. And you highlighted it earlier, like, I thought the spear hero was around. Where the fuck did he disappear off to? He just disappears. Like, well, I thought he was still around.
Non-specific training. He's doing non-specific training.
And
he was asked to do something for Naofumi, and that's it. And we don't know. We see a clip of him later on saying, "Hey, I'm on my way, and this is all for Philo, and all these other things." Like, okay, yeah, doing what?
I personally do not think that this is the fault of the director. I think this is the fault of the production companies. I think the production companies are saying, you need to get more of this out because we want people to buy the light novels, right? That's what I personally think it is. And we want to get the audience to a point in the light novels that will get them to go pick it up and continue going from where they are. Does that make sense?
No, because anime and anime merchandise makes way more money than light novels.
Yeah.
No, but right. Yes, it makes more money, but I don't think it makes as much profit.
Oh,
right?
Maybe.
Okay.
Because you're just basically paying for an author and the production. Whereas, I mean, like, I fucking picked up Goblin Slayer because of the first series. I picked up One Punch Man because of the first series.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to pick up Undead Unluck because of the first series.
I picked up fucking Berserk because of the first series, right? So it's,
Yeah, I just wanted to add my 2 little cents in on it as well. To me, it felt like things were just going. It was just things were just happening. We were just going from event to event with no real connective tissue. Like every time that a new hero showed up, it was like, okay, and why should this matter to me? This has no emotional impact.
Like whom? Like I just want to confirm. Like whom? Are we talking about the cardinal heroes? Or are we talking about
the cardinal heroes. Yeah. So like every time, like when they picked up the spear hero, it was just like, okay, now this is happening. And that one was probably the best handled. Then the sword hero was just like, okay, now this is happening. And the bow hero was probably the worst because it was supposed to be it was him and Rishia, and like we didn't know or care about we still don't know or care about Rishia at this point.
It's genuinely just these guys are sad. Get them a girlfriend.
Yes,
and that's the solution.
So a large part of the problem with Rishia, right, is the fact that her entire plot from season 2 was skipped.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We've only vaguely heard about it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's really. I mean, like the whole dragon arc just felt really weird to me. And whatever happened to the little now the little dragon's brain is just gone. I guess who cares about that? Sorry, a little bit of a spoiler, I suppose, but
don't worry.
Spoil King Nasuth again.
Yep. To me, it just felt like the puppeted, like the corpses of dear old friends being puppeted around, and that was it. Man.
Do you agree though that this is leagues better than the second series?
Oh, definitely.
Well, also there was some animation issues too. I don't want to skip over the animation issues. But in as much as the characters actually felt more like
character
themselves.
Well, a little bit more themselves. I mean, like I said, at least they still felt like corpses being puppeted, but at least the puppet master was trying to make them seem like I like the fact that the interactions between them were good. It's just none of it made none of the external stuff made any impact anyway.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there won't be a season 4 and they won't ruin it any further.
Who knows?
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Where are we at?
Mine.
Is it Nasuth? Right. Okay. What do you want?
I want to do Xeno's favorite, Ragna Crimson. Xeno was is a toss up between Ragna Crimson and Eminence and Shadow. So this is actually gone up 1 point for me. This was an acquired taste 3 stars, now an acquired taste 4-star. And it did take a while to acquire that taste, I will fully admit, because Leo is stupid. I think I understand why Leo was necessary now. It's still stupid and I hate it.
Isn't this a 2-core? Isn't this still going?
Is it?
I thought this is like got 2 full cores. This hasn't taken a break or anything.
Oh crap! This is a mid-season review. I even have it right here. Shoot! I should have talked about this earlier when we were going over our ones that are continuing. Ha ha! Oops.
Good job.
It's all right. We're professionals.
But yeah, no. So the show has kind of gone full Stardust Crusaders at this point, with time stopping and time rewinding and things like that. Episodes 7 or 9 are actually really, really good with the pacing. It helps push the story along. Gives you more details about the character. You actually really get to see a lot about Crimson and Ragna and the new people that they followed in with. So they've essentially, at this point, they've been transported away from the capital city and away from the major fight that we saw in the first half of the season, first quarter of the season, I suppose. And now they're with a group of survivors who are about to also be attacked. And we've actually been spending a lot of time with them, like really getting to know them. And Ragna has had to admit, now that he's not in full-on Berserker mode, because there was a point where he was in like full-on Berserker mode and he couldn't break away from what he was doing. But now that he's kind of been, beaten up on and gone back to normal, he's like, oh, maybe I can't do this on my own. Maybe I'm gonna have to get some of these humans to help out. But we've also got a problem where they're now trying to humanize the dragons, and I might need to get into some spoilers for this. I also still didn't start the timer. I am bad at this. So I was right about the dragons. The dragons are all just uplifted humans, using some kind of massive technology that gives them magic or whatever. And they're now trying to actually humanize them in some ways, which I suppose can work. Sometimes you want your villain to have a little bit of humanity, but they're doing it wrong. Like they did it really well. They did it really well at first when they were like, Ultimatia's goal. Ultimatia is the head dragon. Well, her goal is to kill all the humans, but she thinks she's doing it peacefully. She slowly, like, she herds them all in towards the city, and then uses one of the other dragons to just quietly wipe them out a little bit at a time and erase everyone's memory so they don't notice that they're gone. And that to her is kindness. And I'm like, that's great. That's beautiful. It's twisted. It's wrong, but I get it now. But then they went too far. They started going further. And it's like, you guys do realize that their goal is still genocide against all humans, right? You can't make them too humanized, especially when they specifically state at certain points that the process of turning them into dragons erased a lot of their emotions. Like I should be angry at Ultimatia for turning me into a dragon, but I just can't be anymore. That emotion's gone. What are you doing? What are you doing with this? Gosh, I think I've already gone over all the rest of this. Oh, no. So I finally figured out his true lesson. I suppose I could probably take off spoilers for this. Maybe. So kind of the overarching goal of at least this first half of the season has been, before he's thought, it's fine if I die, because he's already lost. He's already lost so much in the future. But what if he actually had to actually plan for the future now? That's been like kind of the ultimate goal of this first half of the season. What can he do to no longer just be a whiny little piss baby, but actually try to do something good? So I like that, but I can see that this is definitely not for everyone, and so it remains an acquired taste. Very action heavy, very very dark, and you have to get past Leo in the beginning. And again, I think Leo was necessary for him to learn that lesson, which is why they had to have her. But God, they still haven't picked that plot thread back up, and I don't think they ever will.
Wow. Wow, good old Square Enix games. Wow.
Is this a Square Enix game?
I'm pretty sure it is a Square Enix game.
Oh dear.
But I mean, they're just going to drop it, so drop them out. Right? Are we done? Are we moving on?
Yeah. I'm done. Unless you guys have any questions on that.
No,
I didn't think so.
Right. The Vexations of the Shut-In Vampire Princess. I like it. Mm-hmm. Trying to decide where to put it. I'm gonna give this a 2-star acquired taste. All right. The animation's great, solid throughout. The humor is funny, and it's well deserved. The plot doesn't really do a great deal, and you're like, well, no shit. We knew this was gonna happen. It's just fun. It's dumb. It's I like that the characters kind of stay true to themselves. Go on. What was you gonna?
Is it very slice of lifey?
Not really.
No.
There is the sort of like, oh god, the conspiracy espionage side of things, but a lot of it is very shallow. You know, it's quite obvious what's going on. The range of this being between like serious and comedy is vast, right? So they do keep flipping between the two quite quickly. One of my favorite points in this is the fact that her maid ends up making t-shirts of this face that what was it, Korumi ends up pulling, who, you know, our main protagonist. She makes these t-shirts, and one of the other generals of the Vampire Nation ends up buying the entire stock.
God.
Right. And I think there's like life-size dolls and all sorts of weird and wonderful shit, and like it's absolutely, it's dumb, it's zany, it's funny, but at the same time there's this whole like you know, there is this conflict between characters. So there is that not juxtaposition, but the balance between the lightheartedness and the more serious tone. So it does have a direction that it wants to go in, but you kind of know where it's going to go in each and every single time. The thing that keeps it lighthearted and more enjoyable is, more often than not, the reasons for why her platoon ends up breaking into a fight with someone else, and it always comes back to how she's cuter than everyone else, right? So
cuteness is virtue.
Yes. So we
learned this from No Game No Life.
You know, it's like, you know, the Imperium of Man in Warhammer 40k didn't go to war for any other reason than the fact that their kawaii God Emperor, you know, they're fighting for their kawaii God Emperor.
It's true. It's true.
But it's fun. It is dumb.
Girls are unforgettable.
The animation style maintains consistent. Yeah, I really enjoyed the series. I was happy to keep watching this one. It wasn't a chore, unlike fucking Hymns of Ruin.
Nice.
So you know, that's basically all I have to say.
Yeah.
Fair
enough.
Moving on to the next one.
Yeah. So after my last one, I'm going to do a palate cleanser with Shy.
Shy.
This is one of my favorites from the season, and I'm really tempted to rank this higher, but it's a 5-star acquired taste for me. And it could easily, because it's going up with the second season, it could go up from here. This is a superhero anime that's quite obviously hiding a magical girl anime behind it. And it's done so well. I am loving the way they've presented this world. You know, they're revealing these plots and these characters and these abilities that they have, and they are progressing through this and introducing new people and introducing new villains as it goes. The simple thing is, these guys are literally just magical girls and magical guys that have been given these bracelets that give them the powers when they chime them together, that brings out the power of their own heart. So their emotions, their feelings.
Instead of a henshin, it's a heart shift.
Yes. Stop it. Now, I love the fact that our main character is just another one of these shy girl characters that we've had We've had Komi, we've had Bocchi, and now we have Shai herself. And it's great because her powers seem to be the ones that are going to save the day, but not because she has such great individual powers. She starts developing from the thing we see as she goes through. She's developing powers over fire, whereas the other heroes around her have powers like with water, or with, in the case of Spirit, she has air or smoke. And they use these quite successfully. The combat scenes are great fun to see when they're actually moving at high speed around, and the animation's almost always solid. I've got to say, but the whole the magical girl thing is coming in where we've got a counter force that wants to bring out what
Amariraku, I believe is what they call it.
Yes, they want to bring out the powers of the heart, but they seem to have got the wrong end of the stick. They want to bring out the anger, the betrayal, the fear. They want to create worlds where people can be purely happy, live on the power of their own heart, but in the most childish way, in this thing of letting all emotions out and not trying to be responsible with them. And
only focusing on like
the negative ones. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the negative, but it's like how the positive ones can get twisted into negative ones.
Yes. So a good plot thread they had is they face off against a villain who had, in her previous life, she had tried to do her best to raise her daughter, and the world's cruel, and she was poor, and she tried really hard, and she was sadly killed by a mugger. And throughout the whole thing, the theme of her sadness is she's trying to raise this daughter of hers, and she doesn't even know how her daughter feels. She doesn't even know. All she's doing is she's just focusing on that thing of, I have to do my best for her to make her happy. And so you get little moments where she misreads her daughter drawing a nice picture for her, surrounded by nice food and things. She wants to be happy with her mum and eat good foods and laugh together, but all the mother sees is that is the things that her daughter doesn't have, and what she
provide
wants.
The food. Yeah, food will make her happy. I can't give her food,
so
she's missing the important part there. It's the mom and the food.
Yes,
the mom.
Yeah, and so connecting the mom in her new villainous form back to her daughter is key, and connecting the hearts and feeling these, straightening out the warped emotions is a great theme to go through. And you get to see these epic hero moments of, your powers can't freeze me because they're not even close to cold compared to the power,
they're not, they can't match
warmth
the
I feel to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and it's great to see these moments, great to see these proper, almost shonen hero moments in a magical girl anime. So this is it's a great palate cleanser for me. I loved coming back every week to watch this. I couldn't wait.
I also, even the episodes, there are some episodes that kind of feel like filler, and maybe they are, but even then, they have a way of like furthering this idea of connection and bringing hearts together, and I like that. I really like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Good show.
I'm going to ask you because,
yes.
I got bored of this, and I stopped watching after, I think it was episode 6.
The shopping trip, probably, yeah.
Was it the shopping trip? No, it was the aftermath after the
the mountain climb.
No, not the mountain climb. They went to the Arctic or the Antarctic. They had the fight and everything.
Yes.
And then it was the episode after that where it was just like they're basically up in the station. And she's like learning her powers and stuff. Yeah. Is this better binged than it is watching it, because like I honestly got
for
bored.
you, yes.
Probably
for you,
for
yes.
you, yeah. I thought it was really good episodic, but that's fine.
I liked it episodic, but again, this is still an acquired taste, but it's
not episodic.
Yeah.
Okay, you know it. So,
sorry, yes.
This is a very high. It's a 5-star, but it's still an acquired taste because it's not for everybody.
Okay, that's fair. Nasuth.
Right. I will take Eminence and Shadow, please, for 100, Alex.
You mean a fail of failness?
Yes. So I this was an acquired taste 1 for a while because it had kind of, oh man, that banking arc was rough. But it's gone back up to an acquired taste 3. Xeno will never acquire that taste, and that's fine. But I'm glad that it's back to being fun. It's a little bit rushed, and I wish they'd kind of gotten rid of the banking arc and put some of the stuff here into that spot instead. But generally speaking, they could have gone straight from the end of the Lawless City arc in the first 3 episodes, right to episode 9, and just cut out those 6 episodes.
6 episodes,
more or less. I mean, there's some stuff in there that's good, but generally speaking, you could get rid of most of it and put it other places. Which would give great room for some of the other stuff that they just kind of gloss over in the last, Shadow's talking about how he goes on this massive series of journeys, and we just see little outtakes of each one, and they're funny, they're great, but we just see little bits. I do like that he admits he doesn't know what his end game is. He's like, I tried being Shadow. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with Shadow, so I tried being John Smith. Didn't really like that. It's not really what I want to be. So I need to sit down and really think about what I'm doing. And
wait. Was John Smith Mr. Mundane?
No, that's Mundane Man.
Okay.
John Smith was his secret agent persona that he was using during the banking arc.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we've got great things he's having this this really serious scene with one of the princesses, and the entire time he's just eating cookies. It's so fucking perfect.
No, say that again, because you just burst out laughing. I couldn't make out what you said.
He's eating cookies.
Right.
So she's having this really serious dialogue with him. And he's mostly being serious. He's playing his part. He's playing his role. And the entire time he's just eating cookies. He's just, it's so good.
But he does that throughout the entirety of the first series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's back. He's back.
Okay.
Oh yes, yeah. It does the thing where we've been seeing his misinterpretations. But even though he's doing things for reasons he's gotten the reasons wrong, he's still doing them, and it all kind of adds up at the end so that the other characters manage to do what actually needs to be done. It's great. It's great. To me, this is always the difference that separates this from something like Overlord, is that in Overlord everyone gives him the motivation and then he says yes, but in Shadow he's always doing his own thing and other people end up
explain what he's doing.
No,
but justifying what he's doing.
I mean, they try to, but no, they end up just doing. They end up also doing what they think they should be doing. It just happens to be the actual thing that needs to be done. Oh, but yeah, it's great. It's great. Xeno will never get it, and that's fine. There's also going to be a movie coming. So this ends on a cliffhanger, which is going to be explained in the movie that comes out, I think, next year. But the cliffhanger's really good. I don't want to spoil it, but it's so good. Definitely did not expect it when it happened. And yeah, I guess that's really all I got to say. We've been going over a lot of these, so.
This was popcorn worthy. Watching Xeno's face.
Yeah. Xeno doesn't get it. That's fine. But you at
has
home,
no taste in
you at
anime.
home, you get it. You get it at home. You understand.
No one gets it. It's shit. I want to know what your opinion of Eminence in Shadow is, because trust me, you think it's shit.
Effendor loves it.
Right, let's move on. No, he doesn't. Don't lie. Right, let's move on to the next thing. Right. Okay. The 100 girlfriends that really, 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 really love you. Right?
Really, really, really.
Either a 4 or a 5-star acquired taste. This thing is fucking hilarious. I'm gonna give it a 4-star acquired taste. Right? This shit is some of the funniest thing ever. Because he doesn't take itself seriously. Right? So, and I'm going to give you an example of how it does not take itself seriously. There's so one of the would-be girlfriends is basically a chemist, right? You know, she concocts all these different drugs, right? And one of the things that she ends up doing is she creates this love potion, and this is the first time she's meeting up with all the girlfriends, and you know they're on the roof of the school, and it's so they're gonna have like a little mini picnic, and they're gonna have tea or whatever. So she says to the other girls, "Oh, could you serve the tea?" The thermoses are quite obvious. You know, there's his thermos and then there's our thermos. Don't mix them up. I need to go pee. And so she goes. So they have these 2 thermoses, and one of them's massive and one of them's tiny. So they pour the tiny one for him and the massive one for all the girls. Except for the massive one is blue and the tiny one is pink. And that's the distinguishing factor. Incidentally, all the girls get drugged with the kissy virus, right? And as a result, they all turn into zombies that want to kiss him. And they have to make a cure. And this is how the series does not take itself seriously, right? It is dumb. It is fun. It is horny on main. It is. There are a non-zero number of burst out loud laughing moments, and I think that's what makes this series so endearing to me. Yeah, it always escalates, right? I kind of want. Can we hit the spoilers, right? Because like if people are seriously, genuinely interested to watch this, I don't want them to hear this. But this is what I think really seals it for me, is the fact that later on in the series, the pink-haired girl, she basically gets removed from the equation when effectively her mum finds out that she has a boyfriend. No man is good enough for her daughter, so she's going to be taken out of the province and go to a different school, like just because they're filthy rich, right? So like she can afford to like uplift them and just move them somewhere else. And so her phone's been taken away from her and all sorts of weird. And effectively, they then have to sort of so the whole group, the remaining group, decides to kidnap the pink-haired girl and then run away, right? Just run away from the family, and so that they can live together and be happy. But one of the tricks is the fact that they've got like super high tech security everywhere. They've even got patrolling guards and stuff, and they have these like lasers, like infrared lasers that if you walk through, you'll set off the alarm and things. So in order to see the infrared lasers, our main protagonist has to have a drug from our chemist, that allows him to see infrared lasers. Yeah, so it kind of chemically changes his eyes so he can see infrared. But that's all he can see, right? All he sees, like everything else is black to him, right? It's just nothing there. All he sees is these lasers, so he has to get over these lasers with the help of like one of the other girls. But ultimately, they get captured, and he's put in front of the mum. And they're talking to each other, sort of thing. And she's like, "What the fuck is up with your eyes? Your eyes are really fucking weird." She tells him her tragic backstory. He starts crying and everything, and thus the chemical that is like coated his eyes kind of like washes out and stuff. And then they see each other for the first time, like, you know, eye to eye, sort of thing. And the mum turns out to be one of his girlfriends. And Nasuth is slowly losing his fucking mind.
We know with the spoilers because I want to say something, but I don't want to find spoilers.
I fell in love with my girlfriend. I fell in love with my girlfriend and my girlfriend's mum, and my girlfriend's mum fell in love with me too.
Yep. Okay, so
what kind of hentai logic is this?
I don't know, but it's fucking hilarious, and I can't stop laughing. Right. Nasuth, you want to say something without the spoilers, so
behold the duality of weeb. Sorry, just almost choked on a cough drop. I think Eminence and Shadow is dumb fun that doesn't take itself seriously, and I love it. Xeno hates it. Xeno thinks the show is dumb fun that doesn't take itself seriously. He loves it. I hate it.
Well, this is okay. I haven't actually watched it.
To be fair, I haven't actually watched it. I should watch it before I say that.
But I think Eminence and Shadow does take itself too seriously. But
oh my god, you're kidding.
No, I do. I genuinely do think Eminence and Shadow takes itself too seriously.
I think the comedy of Eminence and Shadow comes from the fact that it is in fact taking itself seriously.
It's pretending to take itself seriously.
No, I don't think it's pretending, and that's
to
funny.
take itself seriously.
Oh my god.
Right. But yes, so I really enjoy this. It is dumb. It is fun. I think we should move on.
Yep. I am going to address the show that I really am so pleased exists, which is Helk. And
I'm surprised you're not saving that for last.
No, actually. So Helk has finally finished, and I am going to give this a solid 5-star acquired taste.
Really?
Yes. This is not a must-watch, because I'm fully aware that there are...
Oh, no, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so the thing is with this, I am very biased. And I realise I'm very biased, so I'm actually lowballing my thing for this. But this show takes a while to get going, because it is the full 24 episodes. It builds up the characters, it lets you see these situations, but then it doesn't quite build up some of them enough, and lets them shine in the later part of the season. The plot takes a while to actually kick in, because they have the whole thing of going through the tournament, then getting sent off to the desert island and have to come back, and meanwhile the story is happening without the main protagonists. The whole thing that I really liked about Helk in general is the fact that it takes the protagonist on a journey to get to know each other, get to trust each other, get to experience what their own thing is, then reveals their backstory. So, they reveal the backstory because they trust each other. And meanwhile, you still see the plot happening to all the other characters. Everybody else is finding out what Helk knows. And they're finding out without him just telling them. So the whole thing about the what's happening to humanity, what the king and his nobles are doing, where why Helk is seemingly hated by humanity, and why he came to the demon empire in the first place, is all happening in an almost organic way in terms of how the characters are interacting. And it's laying groundwork for what is it has to be another season in the works because of
God,
this.
I hope so.
And it all builds up. It all builds up to a fantastic last episode where you see the real progression of the characters that we've come to see, and how solidly impressive their growth has been over the season. I love the characters.
I think the problem for me, though, is that in the middle, there were too many episodes where the animation was and then they did stupid shit like, let's just have a random dance that's really well animated, or let's have a cooking episode, or like it just felt like there was a lot of filler episodes in the middle.
Now it doesn't take itself very seriously in those places. We know that.
I agree, but I think there's a reason for that, and I think it's because they want to set you up for this is just a lighthearted adventure, so that when the shift happens, and I don't want to give too much away about the shift, but when the shift happens, it's that much more impactful.
Yeah. Finding out why Helk is smiling all the time and why he's so happy with everything he's got and all the friends he's making is genuinely more impactful because of how silly the rest of the show has been so far.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give this another try.
I think they could still tighten up the pacing a little bit. Like, I don't think they necessarily need the cooking episode at all. But
no, you're right.
But I do think that in the second half makes up for a lot of that.
Yeah, fair enough. There's without going into too much spoilers, this scene right here, with Heracles taking on the Demon Lord, takes on a whole new meaning when you see how the plot is developing, and where it's all coming from, what's going on with the characters, and where the motivation is. The fact that the demons, when Heracles went to talk to them, did in fact just ask for peace.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we figured that out, and wanted to be friends. And yet, there's still that climactic fight where Heracles defeats the Demon Lord. Yeah, there's some real importance there, and there's some really
that happens after that.
darkly horrifying moments that speak to the duality of man. It is impressive. So, yeah, no, I love this show, and I'm going to rank it down a bit from my own bias, and I'm really, really looking forward to what else they could do with it.
Because thus far we've not heard anything.
Hopefully when. Anyway.
Right.
Let's do Bullbuster, please. Please, my good sir.
Good sir, please.
Now, I really would love to give this a must-watch. I loved this show. This show is great. But I'm gonna stick with an acquired taste 5-star, which is up from 4 stars.
That's interesting. Is like fucking Annie list is it like 8,500 on, and I'm just like, it's pretty high. It's pretty high rank. Like, so you giving it acquired taste 5 stars, like, interesting.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So they've given it a really low rank.
Oh,
and you've given it like a really high score.
Helk was ranked like 7,000 or something as well.
7,600 something.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But one of the things I think would hold people back is the business talk. So that's why it's still an acquired taste. But if you get past that, it's good. Firefighter Daigo, which we talked about in the first review of the season, somehow took firefighting and made it boring. This has taken office work and somehow made it exciting. I don't know how. I'll try to explain it. But there's just something really captivating about a story about regular people. Like this company started out as a construction company. They're just regular people who just want their homes back. Because their home has been they've had to leave the island that they lived on because it's been taken over by this weird gas and these giant monsters, right? And in order to get their homes back, they have to navigate the world of big business and red tape. It's got slice of life elements, but in that, you know, it feels like somebody's sort of escapism in some ways. Oh, no, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. So much slice of life still feels like somebody's fantasy or escapism, right? So you got, like, you know, your dragons or your masterful cats or whatever. Well, this has slice of life elements to it, but feels grounded and real.
Right.
Each episode, I think I forgot to start my timer again. I'll do that now. Each episode seems to have an overall point, like appreciating new things, like they get a new time clock, right? But the entire point of that episode is how they're just completely throwing away the old thing, and not necessarily appreciating it as much. Like, one of their members is an older guy, and they're essentially, in order to potentially get a new business deal that might help them continue their work on the island, they might have to push him back to a more, you know, back-end position rather than being on the front lines, and so it deals with that through the you know, the both the business side of things and the monster side of things. It's really good. The show is very pro-business, but not pro-corporate. It's pro-community instead. It believes that businesses should be a part of their community. They should help it grow as they grow, rather than just being in pursuit of the almighty dollar or yen or whatever by any means necessary. It does this through the interactions of the aforementioned neighborhood association, the bigger business that they're dealing with, which is doing some really shady shit, the laboratory that doesn't want to do work for them because it's pro bono, and our company itself with their goals that they want to get done. The ending is dramatic and satisfying. I don't want to give away what it is, but it's really good. I was a little choked up by the end. The people involved are heroes, but also just normal folk, and they can do heroic things because they learn to lean on each other rather than being like lone cannons. It's left the door open to not only continue but expand in a sequel, but this story is done. So they could go to a larger world stage, but the story of our community, our group, is done, more or less. And so yeah, I just thought it was, man, I really enjoyed it overall. There's not a huge amount of mech action. It's billed as a mech show, and there are mecha in it, but it's not really. It's less about that and more about the people involved.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
and how corporations can be shady little shits.
Of course. Right. Okay, then. Shall we further go on?
Yeah.
And
I believe we're on our last round, aren't we?
Yes, technically. Like, it'll loop back to me, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Under Ninja. Right. Okay. Right. Under Ninja. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Under Ninja.
Take a ninja. Now be under them. Now be under a ninja.
No.
But be a ninja who's underneath.
No. Exactly. There you go. You get it eventually. Right.
Be both of those.
Okay. This is, I'm going to say, a 4-star acquired taste. Right? So, I literally finished this, I think it was like a couple of hours before we were due to record. And I waited for the series to finish before I started watching it. Because realistically, and this is one of the massive negatives towards this series, you have to binge it, right? There are so many subtle nuances to this series that if you're not watching it at a fairly regular pace, you will forget really key subtle things, right? Really important key subtle things that is constantly referred back to and things like this. You don't really learn what's going on until like the second to last episode. You get a lot of
I don't
action,
even know what's going on in that screenshot.
Oh well, in this screenshot, shit, I can't remember what he's trying to bribe them with a bra. I can't remember what he's trying to bribe them for. But regardless, right? The whole point is that the plot is written in such a compelling way. You're not entirely sure what the goal is of any one organization. Now, originally, when I sort of reviewed this, I said like there was 2 organizations. There's not. There's actually technically 3, right? There's the the government sanctioned ninjas. There's the what were part of the so basically there was the organization of ninjas that existed for the war, right, or World War II. And then when the government came in, they kind of split them up and said, like, you have to basically register to be a ninja. And there was a group that decided, yes, that they were going to do it, and then a group that's decided, no, that they weren't going to do it. So the ones that decided that they were going to do it, are this third group that I didn't realize existed until like later on in the series. But the group that we do know existed, they were the ones that we have followed throughout the bulk of this series. And they are, the main titular group and everything. But you don't really truly understand like the evil machinations of any one group until it's like the end of the series. So, motivations have still not yet been revealed. Allegiances are tenuous, like who is who actually working for. It's a really good conspiracy series, in the same sort of vein as at least season 1 of Durara, at least Bakano. It's a really good series. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It likes to play the straight man whenever it's telling its stand-up joke sort of thing. Like, again, this first scene was absolutely brilliant when you have the Navy SEALs infiltrating a terrorist cell, and they turn up and they discover that the terrorist has been decapitated and half his hand has been removed with the remote detonator, the remote trigger. And like, there's only one thing that can kill them. It's like that can perform such a clean cut. Ninja.
A katana? Oh.
No. It's like ninja. It is very silly. It is very like, it tells its jokes very straight man. But again, I didn't know where the fuck this was going until the last episode. I'm like, oh, that's what this is fucking about. Again, this gets props for dealing hands that I was not expecting, like dealing cards that I was not expecting. I don't want to give too much away, but at the same time, this is very much a series that if it's sort of like a conspiracy series and you think in a certain way, you'll probably be able to guess exactly what the fuck is going on really early on, right? But for me, this was a series that I was like, holy shit. So I think a lot of people will actually enjoy this. But this is going to be one that a lot of people will sleep on because it is such a slow burn, I suppose. You need to binge this. This cannot be watched in any other way.
Hale.
So, well, I mean, we all know you do have TikTok brain, so I mean, take it as you will.
Fuck you! Oh, you're such a dickhead. Right, but I don't know if you have any questions.
I keep needing to watch this and then I never do, so I guess I'm gonna have to finally put it on my.
But I think it's good though that you've waited this long because. There again, one of the most subtle things about this series that I think is absolutely brilliant. You can't hear the footsteps of any of the ninjas. Right? Any ninja character you cannot hear the footsteps of. Absolutely brilliant, right? There's dumb funny parts, but it's played as a straight man, and I like that a lot. So
it's smart about being dumb.
No, it's smart about being funny. right? I wouldn't at no point. Well, the thing is, like, at no point in time would I say any part of it is dumb, right?
Well, didn't you literally just say it was dumb fun?
No, dumb fun is it? Sorry, no, it's dumb fun, sure, but it's not funny. It's dumb funny, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant it was fun and dumb, not okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All
right. Should we move on?
So yeah, I'm gonna round this out. This should be my last one, I think. With My Daughter Left the Nest and Return an S-Rank Adventurer. This one is
your last one you're reviewing.
Yeah, because this is the most solid show of the season. A lot of the others had their ups and downs, and were good in parts and bad in other parts. This is the one that was the most solid for me, and I'm going to give it a 1-star must-watch.
Interesting.
Okay, it is not the best show, but the consistency of it, the way it's progressing the story, the way you really want to find out what these characters are doing, pulls you in. It doesn't matter whether it was episode, if you watch it week to week or if you binge it, you want to get to know these characters more. Specifically this guy, because he is the driving force of everything. His daughter is the S-rank adventurer, but this is the driving force, her father.
Yeah.
Okay? And we start out finding all about the daughter and how she's, she left the nest, she went off, she gained so much skill that because she can defeat minor demon lords with her swordsmanship. And, a bit of support from a mage and an archer that she keeps on her team, who are both like A rank in their classes. But it's not done in a video game style. It's done in genuinely. They get ranks because they get the skill, not because it's a actual hard and fast ranking system. And our man here, he happens to win over people with just solid, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be good, and when I need to fight, I'm going to fight kind of energy. He's just a solid dad, and I love him. Okay? He wants to do the best for his daughter. He doesn't want to go out on adventures. He's done his adventuring. He got his leg bit off by a demon.
Thaylien. Thaylien.
By a Thaylien? By a Thaylien?
Thaylien. Would you say he has big dad energy?
He has biggest dad energy. Because he is the red-haired ogre. So the latter half of the season concentrates a little bit more on finding out more about the world that they're going through. So you get the rival things of two like church worshippers. One who worships the teachings of the man who controlled the demon lords, and another who is like more the church of the land, but they are standard, the fickleness of man, kind of tormentors of the weak. The nobles believe in this religion, and the lower classes are put down because of it. Then it moves on again to finding out a little bit more about the father's history, finding out that he had a team, that people that cared for him. And it all spins off from the fact that his daughter decided that she wanted to see if she could find a wife for her father. And there was a solid episode of her saying, hang on, does my dad need a wife still? It would be nice to find him one, but whoever became his wife would have to be my mother as well, so I'd have to get on with them. And so it's not done as the whole focus of the thing. It's more like, we're going to do this, this, and this, and in the meantime, oh look, there's a solid, dependable-looking woman. Have you considered settling down and getting married? My father's
you look to be marrying age.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, and she specifically doesn't go for the people that have already shown a bit of interest in him, but it's really nice to see more of his history, find out more characters, and then go off to the capital to meet what the noble class are like and explore why they're just shit people, and there's some more plans going off, and through it all is this comfortable, cozy thing with a girl that knows she can always go home to see her father, and that there's a safe and homely place to return to. So it's a good, solid watch. I love it to bits, and I think the humor is spot on as well. Everything from the girl that she's the black-haired Valkyrie, but when she sees her dad, she wants to be picked up and cuddled.
Perfect.
It's just Uppy's time, and like the fact that he's not in any way prejudiced like some of the nobles are. So when he finds out that the cat girl that's the mage in her party, she takes off her hat at his table, and he goes, "Oh, that's why you didn't take off your hat. Your ears are going to get cold. Let me get you another hat. I'm really sorry." You know. And she ends up like, "Yeah, could you do me a favor and just like pat me on the head between the ears?" Sure, I don't see why not. And practically starts purring because of it. It's adorable. But yes, it's done really comfortably. It's just a solid show. I recommend everybody watch it, or at least try it out.
Fair. Cool. Nasuth, are you ready for your last one?
Oh, yeah, it's time for Jujutsu Kaisen. Now... Let's probably stop and reset. There we go. Now, I binged this. No lie. I watched the first half, and then...
Same.
I went away for a long time, and then I binged through the second half. And I think that's a really good way to watch it, because you can stop when you need to, when you need a break. So but because I binged this, I think maybe my opinion might be skewed. I don't know. I'm giving it a must-watch 3 stars though, because I really enjoyed it. The fights are really well done. The drama's incredible. The pacing's not too bad. Although again, that's because I binged it. However, my notes do have some really interesting, a really interesting start to them. Literally. This is some Evangelion bullshit. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that means, but as soon as you start the second half, you'll understand. No, for real, who let Hideki Anno in here? Which goes both for, again, the aforementioned beginning, and then also later, right near the point that I had to take a break because it had gotten so heavy. It happens again. Just who is going to pay for all this collateral damage? I need to know. Very, very important here. Nice boat.
Nice boat.
Nice boat. If you don't remember the nice boat, Xeno, then you need to go back and rewatch it. And
no, I know. I remember. I'm well aware.
Good. And let's not do Shibuya next year. I think it's a good idea to just not do Shibuya next year.
Yeah, it's not.
Just saying.
Well, I mean, there is so much to go over in that season. It's the full.
It gets very dark. Like, man, I did not expect. I know it gets a little dark in the first. I mean, it gets pretty dark in the first season, but not like this. Not like I had to stop. Right after. The rampage. Let's call it the rampage.
Okay.
And right before the aftermath of the rampage, because the shock of like, what has this done to Itadori was just like I need to step back. I need to.
I will compare that to the end of season 1 of Invincible.
Yes, that sort of thing.
In terms of impact, yeah.
So, I think your rating is fully justified.
Yeah.
I did watch it week by week, and I think it holds just as much gravitas. I think I had I stopped for like 2 or 3 weeks for a little bit, but I was hitting so many spoilers on Instagram and things and Reddit. I was like, no, I have to just go back to watching it because I'm just going to get spoiled everything. It's fantastic. It is extremely like this is a series where the goal is very clearly planned out, right? And the author knows exactly where the fuck he wants to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This is not your typical shonen series.
Yeah.
No.
And I loved like all of this. I will say the animation towards the end of the series or season gets quite jank.
It gets very off model. It gets super off.
Yes.
Yeah. Like.
But I think that's an intensity kind of thing. It's almost deliberate. It's not. There is off model, and I think it's supposed to be off model in general, but not quite that much. I think it's a bit too jank.
Yeah, I think the problem is like this is when Mappa were really complaining about the production issues that they were having.
Well, but to be fair, like I don't think there's really any reused stuff anywhere. So like all this stuff has to be. They had to put so much effort into it. Yeah, I agree with you though.
Yeah. It's but again, like the direction the series is going in, and I love the fact that they really heavily rely on the movie, right?
Yes.
So,
okay. Can I interject? I think I watched this Jujutsu Kaisen in the right order. I watched the first 6 episodes of this season. Yeah. Then I went and watched the movie, and then I came back into the season.
Okay, good.
Because it introduces the right characters in the first part of this season, in the first 6 episodes, and then when you watch the movie, you see what happens, the important pieces that fill out the rest of the season.
Yes,
and it has a lot more impact that way.
If you don't watch the movie before you watch the second part or the
second season in general,
it just none of it makes none of it makes sense. But the important parts that should have more gravitas to them don't. Do you really need to make sure you watch Jujutsu Kaisen 0? And I was talking to a friend recently, and we were talking about how there are so many shows out there that they have spin-off movies and things like this. Like Dragon Ball Z has got more fucking movies than the Sun.
Absolutely.
But none of the movies have any impact on the series itself. Whereas we're starting to see a lot. We're starting to see a lot more shows now where you realistically need to go see the movie because it is either a continuation of the series or it is somewhere slotted in the series. Like again, Chainsaw Man, that's upcoming movie is directly after. Sorry, it's the events directly after the first season, right? Yes. And if they do
and
a
the
second
Eminence
season,
and Shadow movie that's coming is also coming directly after season 2. So yeah.
I think like Japan is sort of like, I think this is the right direction to go because it's taken them a long time to get there.
Honestly, I'm kind of fine with that because some arcs are better told as a movie than stretched out into episodes.
I agree, but at the same time, you watch a movie and you're just like, well, I've watched this, but none of these characters are going to come back. It's like watching a glorified Simpsons episode in the middle of your Family Guy. I'm like, well, this has got no impact on what the fuck I'm doing. So, but right, is there any other points that you want to add to this?
Well, just to chuck on the spoilers.
Go on.
Sure.
Yeah, because this is that
again, very dark.
I want to point out that Ninamori's death was what they were going for in Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Wait, which one?
Doppio's death. With Dorio's death in Cyberpunk Edgerunners, where he's going cyber psycho and he's out in the desert.
Ninamori's the one that lost his eye and like half his body was all burnt like nasty, and so when he was fighting
Nanami.
Ninamine.
Nanami.
That's his nickname from
Nanami.
Nanami. Yes. So Nanami's death when he's fighting And
he's imagining that he's on the beach.
He goes through the bliss.
Going through the beach. That is the scene that they wanted to have in Edge Runners and didn't quite get because you hadn't quite got the character. This one hit so hard, especially with the thing he'd been where he'd been sucked into that domain that was the ocean and was the beach. And you thought that maybe he was still seeing himself there, but no. Well, he was really going out of his head of where he was wanting to be. As we're in spoiler territory, right? I was really God. I really fucking hope no one is watching this bit thinking like, oh, these spoilers are gonna be tame. Like, no. I'm really surprised at the number of characters that actually survived. Right.
But the next arc is the culling arc, so be prepared.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, but I do wonder though, did the other Jujutsu sorcerer, the I can't remember her name,
the weapon wielder?
Oh yes, because they stopped.
No, not the weapon wielder.
No, the hammer girl.
Hammer and nails. Yeah.
Is she gonna survive?
Yes, because
no.
Yeah,
not from the show. The show doesn't tell us.
Yeah. They halted her further decay, and her heart had only just stopped. So maybe.
Yeah. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I also
thought I also thought it was a really interesting idea to take a really bold move to take Gojo out with Geto, there on the rampage. And just completely take him out of the story. Like,
well, they needed to.
They have to.
They had to. Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that Geto wasn't even on a rampage.
Well,
when you think about it, was he let the others do it. He let the other demons,
which was his whole goal. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I just want to confirm though. There was the cursed spirit that said that Itadori was his brother.
Yes.
He's not a cursed spirit, is he? He's
no, he is a sorcerer.
A curse user.
He's a curse user.
Sorcerer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And his brothers were the two in the earlier season.
I remember them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But the thing is it really such a stretch to think that Itadori is actually his brother? Because we don't know anything about Itadori.
Well, remember, but also remember that they said that the thing, it may not even be the same. Like, he may have fathered Itadori with one body and the other guy with a different body.
Yes. So it would be.
The point is just that he
related.
felt. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
He's whatever the fake memories were just.
I don't.
Are they fake memories?
They're not really fake memories.
I don't know.
No. I think that's how his power part of his power manifests is in those memories.
Right.
Yes.
I will also, I think, to my final point is, I will say that I am happy that the hidden treasure arc, which is I think the first 5 episodes of this season, I'm glad that they were only the first 5 episodes. I think that it was kind of dragging on a little bit too much for me. Yeah.
Very important stuff, but also, yes, glad it was just 5 episodes. I feel sort of the same way about Helk's flashback. Anyway.
Right, should we move on to the last?
The final of the final.
The last. The finalist of the final. We have...
Here at nearly 3 hours in.
Yep, tell me about it. The Ancient Magus Bride, Season 2, Part... Right, okay, so this is I'm going to say this is a must-watch 3. This is a must-watch 3-star. Alright. So this does have its speed bumps along the way. It's an absolutely fantastic round off to season 2, but the first few episodes are surprisingly slow, right? The whole concept of you're trying to find out who done it by waiting them out isn't the most tantalizing narrative. But when episode 6 hit, that was going to be the breaking point for me, when episode 6 landed, I just couldn't get enough of this. Like every single week I was just like, I need to watch the next episode of this. And it is absolutely fantastic. They pull on some really old Celtic lore stuff, which again I was really impressed by.
Did they get it right? Did they get it? Did they actually accurately depict it?
From my memory, yes, but I can't remember it entirely.
Good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough for me.
So, there's a Celtic god of death and the battlefield, which I believe is Morrigan. And they actually have this character in the series, and nice. I was like really impressed. So the direction of the direction the plot goes in isn't the most intuitive, but the fight scenes, like all the action scenes and everything, is exceptionally well animated. It is like, holy shit, this is impressive. I'm just flat out through and through. This is one of my favorite series, The Ancient Magus Bride. They do an absolutely brilliant job. I do want them to do a 3rd season, but I want them to take their time doing it. Don't
keep
just
the quality. Don't shield hero it.
Well, no, not that. It's just my concern is that they try to rush it and reduce the animation quality. Right. So I'm not the biggest fan for having for shows like this, same with like Mushoku Tensei and things. I'm not the biggest fan for them to have such we have seasonal gaps in between the narratives. I'm not the biggest fan for that. But this is so much one that, like, if you binge this, if you watch this back to back sort of thing, like, it is absolutely fantastic. It really builds upon the world. It does a fantastic job, and it also highlights how nasty people can be for like the dumbest reason, for like family reasons, family motivations and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a really, really well done series, and people should go check out Ancient Magus Bride if they haven't seen Ancient Magus Bride.
On my list.
If you like those sort of like subtle, nuanced series.
It's on my list. I need to watch it.
Right. I think that we was
really gone through it.
Yeah.
Let's fly out. Whee! There we go.
Right. Okay. So let's do the supporter questions. Right. So before we start the supporter questions, I just want to as Rugel says, before we start the supporter questions, I just want to thank you everyone for listening to the podcast so far. We really appreciate all the likes, comments that everyone leaves on these episodes. And Rugel also says, I was trying to recommend Am I Actually the Strongest to someone, and at the time I compared it to One Punch Man, which seemed like a brilliant comparison, but now I don't remember why. How do you think of any similarities between those two animes thematically or otherwise? Am I Actually the Strongest? Which one was that one?
I never watched it.
That was the one where he was born with a power of like 1002, and the magic orb could only have 2 digits, didn't handle Stag Overflow. He thought it was 2, and he got thrown out as a baby and subjugated a giant wolf creature, turned her into a redhead maid by hitting her with trees.
I have no idea how magic. On earth. I have zero idea how. I mean, maybe the fact that the main character doesn't want to actually do anything.
Yeah.
Right, and but just wants to have an easy go life sort of thing.
Yep. And it's only the people in his life that encourage him to do things, and that he can't get away from. There's a bit of a similarity.
Yeah.
Never watched it.
Reincarnated as a Nasuth. Since I can only copy off other people's work these days, let's continue the idea. Can you think of similarities between One Punch Man and Konosuba?
King's ungodly luck stat.
King's, oh, that's fair. That is fucking fair. King's stat, like, oh my god. Yeah. Okay,
they're both comedies. They're both comedies.
Yep, I'll give you that too. Right, okay, so moving on to the comments. First, from the news. Strongest Shell says, the live-action Yu Yu Hakusho series already debuted. That's pretty cool. I was wondering if it was good. I did actually watch that over the Christmas break.
Oh, yeah?
I've never seen the original Yu Yu Hakusho, but it does feel like they've tried to cram an entire, 26 or 52 episode series into 5 episodes, and it's just it's well acted, the actors' performances are brilliant, the settings, like the stages and the environments, like they look fantastic, the CG's not bad at all, so it looks pretty damn good, but I'm not quite sure if 5 episodes was the right number. Crackerjack reporter Nasuth has looked into this. It has a 75% on the tomatometer, with an audience score of 83. Most reviews are positive, but those are places like Polygon and Kotaku, with others putting on par with the Cowboy Bebop adaptation. Take that as you will. No, this is leagues better than the Cowboy Bebop adaptation. Like the big thing about the Cowboy Bebop adaptation is they were trying to film it. They were trying to frame it like it was 2D animation, and it meant nothing. Right? This was filmed to be live action, and they did a brilliant job. And it was all a Japanese production, right? It wasn't a Western production at all.
I think they might have meant in terms of character and story, but I mean, I don't know how either of those were in Cowboy Bebop anyway. So there you
go. Strong Michelle says, I wear Crocs every now and then. I didn't know gibbets were a thing either. Yep. Thanks for keeping us up to date on all things newsworthy. That's
You're welcome.
Zrugal says, Kitty! I assume my cat made yet another appearance.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yep. I cracked up laughing hearing Xeno read Eminence and Shadow Story. I'm glad... that Frieren plushie is adorable. Yep. Glad that Stamps work, but sad Helk Season 2 is a rip.
Same.
And now moving on to the cast. Zrugal says the quick explanations / synopses of what happened are pretty funny. I see how you edited down content without losing context.
So to be clear, this is the TTRPG episode that they're talking about.
I'm a little gutted, I have to admit, that all my cool combat moments, apart from my epic luck stat, was left out.
I think most of them
because
were, weren't
they? We cut through quite a lot of the combat and all of my combat, which was the only thing I was there for, was the combat.
I don't think that's true at all.
It was. Anyway, even my epic intimidation wasn't there.
Oh dear.
I don't remember, man. When was your epic intimidation?
Right at the start, where I intimidated those people that didn't actually know anything, so couldn't tell me.
Well, it seemed completely...
I know. Yeah. Come on, I rolled so well on that.
We can't keep everything.
No, okay, but you didn't even keep the part where I knifed up 3 people and even blew one person's torso out the fucking door.
I don't remember that, dude.
With a massive perfect roll.
Dude, I didn't choose when shit got cut. I just did what I was told. Right? Anyway.
Grumpy.
Oh, God. At the time of writing, I haven't had D&D in a few weeks, and now I miss it more than I did before. Lol. Dirty Data is a great name for a cyberpunk club, by the way. Then laughing. Nasuth asking a robot what her number was had me laughing at the dual meeting. Sorry. Wait, what was that? What was that?
So, hey girl, what's your number?
Could be her serial number. Could be her. Yeah.
I assume this was at the club again. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a really cool one shot. It was a lot of fun to watch and listen to. Travis Shell says,
all credit to Virgil for the naming and everything.
Oh yeah.
Design. Oh yeah. Also, I didn't realize how quiet the music ended up being when I was listening to it while editing it. The music was so much louder than it turned out to be at the end. I'm very confused why. Yeah. So Dizan for the music, and Marasius, Virgil, and Thaylien for helping select the times to edit out, especially Thaylien choosing to sacrifice his own times. Right, so Strongest Shell says, this was pretty fun. I demand an isekai version. I think the new world mechanics will work great because we'll need stuff explained to us as well. I never got around to seeing Edgerunner, but I enjoyed this well enough. Great show.
Strombers do take the time. Edgerunner is a fantastic show.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go through the
editing process again.
Yeah, that was hell of a lot. Anyway, right, let's move on.
I think what we need is like to spread it out over like a few different weeks where we record an hour or two session. That way we can edit smaller chunks.
We took 6 months to put that thing together.
Hush. You're making a big deal out of nothing.
Right. Memes? Shall we just have fun with memes? Shall we just laugh?
Memes.
Just laugh at memes. We got 3 viewer memes this week.
Of a hard time. I had such a hard time finding memes this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. But 3 viewer memes, you said.
3 viewer memes. One of mine is still marked as spicy, but that's not true. I don't know. I need to go in and fix that. Anyway, no spicy memes this week, as far as I know. Lee.
So these are all submitted by you, the viewers, on the Kanpai Cast Discord. And why am I... there's 2 of me. Hello!
Why is that happening? Oh, no.
I was having fun there. I liked being both myself and Xeno. That was...
No. You're not allowed to be multiple people. You only have to be you.
Oh, I don't like the fact that I'm facing the wrong way. Give me 2 seconds. I have now fixed it.
Excellent.
I like having 4 monitors. It helps.
Ladies or L dies. Do you know to spoiler on a Death Note meme?
Brilliant.
Barber, what do you want? Him. I need to defeat Frieza. Barber, say no more.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Brilliant.
And the third one is a video meme.
That's right, Kakarot. Wholesale. I've got 15 steaks in the freezer and a pallet of Gatorade. Maybe one day I'll let you come along and you can have one of their famous hot dogs.
Fair enough.
I don't know what I just watched, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, so you should be able to enjoy anime in whatever language you want. I disagree. If you watch dubbed anime, there's something wrong with you. Put to the face.
Joys of Girls and Panzer.
Dirty dub watchers.
Nothing. Literally nothing happens. Everything is completely normal. Jotaro. Something's wrong. I can feel it.
Oh my God.
Sign of the Swamp. What is your wisdom? Elves will become extinct because their women don't look like hot, breedable MILFs. Sorry, Frieren. Sorry, Frieren.
A domain inside a barrier that has a curse technique that expands into another domain, but a smaller domain is able to cancel out a real domain, but wait, what the fuck? Incomplete.
It's kind of how it is. I mean, I love Jujutsu Kaisen, but that's kind of how it is.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. Fellas, if your girl has blue hair, large titties, and fights with the undead using a yellow light, then that's not your girl. That's Jonathan Joestar.
Nice.
2 JoJo memes in the week.
Correct.
Yeah.
And...
You guys want me to say ara?
Yes.
You guys want me to say ara?
Did I stutter?
Ara?
Oh my God. Oh. Brilliant.
Right, on the Thaliens.
Good goblins, dead goblin. Good demons get dead demons. Let's make them good.
Oh my God. Brilliant. Love it.
I prefer the best Tadanokan. I said the best Tadanokan.
Yes.
Perfection.
Yes.
And then Happy New Year. Back to normal. Yeah, seems about right. Everyone at the party. Me, I'm going to eat cake.
Yep.
Masochist Darkness Beam plushie that moans every time you hit it and tells you not to call her La Latina. $399. I'll take your entire stock.
Yep.
Your last one.
Why are we making whatever this is? Why is whatever this is in production? Why?
Wait, but isn't High School DxD in production?
It is.
Yes.
Dun,
Was not
dun,
confirmed
dun.
until after I found that. Name.
Nice.
Anyway, right. Moving on to my first meme.
Worth it. Worth taking the time to make sure that played. Oh my god.
Okay, but
that's such a good song. That's such a good song. Right.
I lost my fangs a long time ago. Gigi is listening.
What?
You get it?
What?
Dear, oh
Gigi
dear.
is the name of the author for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh. Oh.
This is Chainsaw Man. This is a character from Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
And
Yes.
okay, you don't get it. Never mind.
No, I
Everyone
get
else
it.
gets it. It's fine. Right. When you blush so hard, your nose ceases to exist.
It's a common anime problem, and we've figured this is the origins of Krillin.
Yeah. Right. Me building my personality on hating anime. Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Yeah.
Yep.
Accurate.
Good morning to everyone except whoever made this.
Hatsune Eggman.
Right. Don't ruin my last one, Nasuth.
I always use this. Almost used that. That is a great one. That is a great one.
There you go.
Oh.
That is it for the memes this week. If you want to find more, go to the Discord. Go to
Blue
where
Sky?
else? Where Reddit? No, Tumblr.
Tumblr.
Probably Blue Sky soon. Yeah, and that's
What?
it. What?
I'm still trying to recover from Eggman Tsunemiki.
Right. And next week's episode is a special episode. I'm not going to go into details as to which because I'm expecting Spoil King Nasuth to spoil everything.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. And yeah, so that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching / listening. And now it's time to bump up a Kanpai!
Bye.
I've already run out. Empty.
Every week with you. Jeez.